Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, one and all, to another episode of the Heresy Hammer. Joining me today, as ever, is the wonderful Robert. How are you
Hello.
today, mate?
Yeah, I'm good. I have got a lot to paint before the SNGT.
Oh,
Let me tell you.
really?
Yeah, let me
Oh,
tell
okay.
you. I've got a rhino, I've got four tarantulas, I've got two vindicators, and some other bits and pieces. So the clock is now running down.
Nice,
I'm a little bit worried,
nice.
actually. A little bit worried,
Well,
but
that makes me feel better because I have got to paint some models for an event me
oh,
and
how is
James are
event?
going
Yeah,
to.
of
Yeah,
course.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And it has taken me a month so far, and I am no further forward.
Excellent.
I have two Thalax to paint.
Oh, right.
Two Thalax. That's all I need to fucking paint. And not once have I been able to get into my little fucking hobby room and paint.
Excellent, excellent.
So yeah,
Instead,
that's
you're reading books about
yeah,
Skitarii and
yeah,
making
yeah,
videos
yeah.
about Skitarii. Yeah.
Yes. So here we are, and there we are. Today we are talking about the Skitarii, Still Hand of Mars, Journal Tactica. What are your very initial thoughts of this book, Rob?
I thought when I saw it, I was like, ugh, like a mech book. Ugh. Who wants mech? Who wants the talking binary? And then I saw the models and I was like, fuck, these are cool. They were quite necromundery, weren't they? Perhaps we'll talk about
Yeah,
the models
yeah,
a little
yeah,
bit
yeah,
later, but
yeah,
they're a
yeah.
bit necromundery. And then I was like, started looking into Skitarii a bit more. And then obviously, because we do the show, we obviously get the books and read through them and do shows about them.
Buy the books.
By the way, so don't get them
Don't.
free.
Yeah.
Um,
Before everyone
and
starts harassing us.
and I was like, this is really fucking cool. Like, the Skitarii are absolute dick swingers,
Yeah.
and I really love them. And I did like some videos this month of basically painting the Skitarii box. So yeah, it's been over the past week has been kind of like real Skitarii vibe for me. So yeah, really enjoying them. We'll talk about kind
Interesting.
of like list building a little bit later. Like, I've
Yeah,
made a little
yeah.
allies detachment, but yeah, I liked it. I liked it a lot, actually. I liked that the lore was fleshed out for me. And I tell you what it made me do. It made me want to go back and read the Mars novel, which I have not read for like a
Oh,
decade.
Mechanicum.
Mechanicum,
Oh,
because I've not
really?
read it for like a decade. I know
Mm.
much more about like the Mechanicum than I did like when I read it, because I all of my abiding memory was just being like Sigismund or Cambodius comes, they steal some suits of armor. There's some sort of like unchained AI monster coming along. We just live with that nowadays, right? Now, like, AI is just a
Yeah,
thing in
yeah,
our lives. But
yeah,
back then, it
yeah,
wasn't
yeah.
so much a thing. And basically, Skynet has basically kind of unleashed itself upon
I mean,
on
at the
Mars.
minute, we just use AI to make stupid pictures of our mates and stuff,
Just
whilst
wait,
like
just wait.
poisoning the planet,
Yeah,
making
yeah,
pictures of,
yeah.
your mate falling off his bike or something.
Exactly. Yeah.
Um, Yeah, I've been on a bit of a roller coaster with the Skitarii. Like when I first heard it, I was like, "Fuck yeah!" I've wanted to do Skitarii for years.
Mm.
I remember playing around with the 40k models and I think it was the first edition militia rules to see if I could get anything to work, and I could never really like it. Just didn't feel right. So when I saw this, I was like, "Fuck yeah,
Yeah.
I'm getting this." And then I realized like I've still got like two boxes of Mechanicum like battle group support force. Like I've got boxes and boxes of stuff. I was like, I don't really
Where does it
need
fit into the
any
pile of
more.
shame?
I've
Yeah.
got a Saturnine box that I haven't even fucking opened. And on top of that is a box of Solar Auxilia that I
Yeah.
haven't
Yeah.
opened. So I was a bit like,
You're just
oh
a
no, come
collector
on,
at this
keep
point,
it
right?
simple. Yeah, pretty
Collector of
much. Yeah.
boxes. Yeah.
And then I saw the rules and I was like, oh, you know what? That's pretty cool. Like,
Mm.
yeah, I could use them as line, blah, 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 blah. And then I brought a box. And then here we are. And then I read the book and I was like, I really like it. There's a few
Mm.
things that I would like to have seen. I
Yeah.
think we can get into that a
Well,
little later,
you're a
maybe.
stern literary critic nowadays after all these
Well,
journal reviews. So
it's an interesting one because the Skitarii, I feel like there's a lot of information about the Skitarii,
yeah,
but I don't really know where half of it comes from.
yeah,
Like I think a lot of it is just based off 40k lore.
mm, mm,
So it would have been nice to see, like they've kind of fleshed it out a bit, and we
yeah,
get some cool stories and stuff.
yeah,
And there's like like a force org of how a Skitarii force would look
Yeah.
in the world, not
Yeah.
in gaming terms.
Yeah.
And it would have been nice, I think, to have seen a bit more than Battle Pilgrims. It would have been nice if they'd added other
Yeah.
units, and if they
Yeah.
ever add those
Yeah.
units in the future,
Yeah.
then cool. And if they don't, then it's just a little bit of a dick tease.
Yeah, yeah, sort of like playing with your balls. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's interesting actually because I did have those sentiments as I was reading the book. I was a bit like, ooh, yeah, there would be a lot of scope to expand this out. I think one of the things that I didn't, and again, we'll get into this a little bit later, but their allegiance to the Fabricator General is what runs through them like a stick of rock,
yeah.
isn't it?
So I quite like the way they dealt with this. I
This was
actually,
really
yeah,
cool, really cool.
yeah, yeah,
But the thing
yeah,
I would say is that they are an independent force of the shock troops in and of themselves, right? Like they're relic
yeah, yeah,
hunters, they're shock troops of the
yeah,
Fabricator General, they're his enforcers, particularly the traitor ones are his enforcers. And so I think like, initially I was like, oh, I'll do these Skitarii and I'll make them aligned to like Ultramar. But that's not how like the Skitarii, the battle pilgrims work. So it's interesting kind of like as a project, as a hobby project, you can do whatever you want with them, I think, in
yeah.
terms of like color scheme, because they are loyal and only loyal to Kelbahal or the other one, whatever his name is,
Yeah, it's interesting,
Zagreus
isn't
Kane.
it?
So yeah, but we'll get into that in this epic
Yeah. In fact,
chronology.
I'm gonna talk about it now very quickly.
Yeah.
So my understanding of the Skitarii originally, they were called Tech Guard.
Mm,
And now this is going back to like the 90s.
mm.
And they had like artillery, they had like tanks. It was basically an Imperial Guard force, but they happened to be like made by and work for the Mechanicum. So that was kind of my understanding. I remember reading, I think it's like a Games Workshop journal or some shit from like the early 90s where
Mm.
they made rules for an epic force, I think it was, of Skitarii. And yeah,
Right.
again, they had like tanks and artillery, like basilisks and all sorts. So when I think of Skitarii, that's kind of what I think of. I think
Yeah.
almost like an Imperial Guard force that's purely there to defend like Forge Worlds or,
Yeah.
the Fabricator General.
That was my understanding, and
Yeah.
actually, the word Skitarii comes up an awful lot within the novels as well. Like if it's just like a mech warrior,
Yeah.
they're often
Yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah.
"Ah, this is a Skitarii." Yeah.
But then they've come up with this like Battle Pilgrim, which
Mm.
we will get into. We'll get, but like they go out and find relics,
Yeah,
which is fine.
they're relic hunters. Yeah,
But
yeah,
then in the stories, they're also guarding bases, and
yeah,
you're like, well, are they out running? They've got long legs because they can run around and look for things, but now
yeah,
they've got long legs because they have to stand there and guard that thing.
yeah, yeah,
So that was the only thing for me is it would have been nice if they just added a few bits in.
yeah,
We don't have to have rules for. But I guess the flip side is if they'd added stuff in and they didn't give us rules, we'd be moaning that they didn't give us
yeah,
rules for
yeah,
the units.
yeah,
So,
yeah,
but it kind of felt very much like we've got this one unit, which is a battle pilgrim, and we're just
yeah,
going to fucking force that into everything. That is
yeah, yeah.
now the Skitarii because that's
Yeah.
all we know.
Yeah, I suppose what I would say is I was left a little bit confused about whether the term Skitarii is an umbrella term that kind of like there's lots of different kinds of Skitarii, or there are only kind of like battle
Yeah,
pilgrims.
exactly that. Yeah,
Yeah. So
yeah,
I'm a bit
yeah.
I'm yeah. So in my head now I'm like, oh well, there's just battle pilgrims, and then
And
there's
that's yeah,
Cabal.
exactly that. Whereas I think if they'd mentioned a few other bits, even
Yeah,
if we don't have rules for,
yeah,
like they could have said maybe we'll get rules in the future. Woohoo.
yeah, yeah. They have
It
said
just feels
they have said in this book we might look to expand this at some point.
yeah, 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 which is fine, but it's yeah, it's I don't know. I feel like they could have. I feel like they've made the Battle Pilgrim models, and that's all they've thought about. They haven't thought. I don't feel like they've come up with some big. What do the Skitarii look like? Like when the
Yeah,
Red
yeah,
Books first
yeah,
dropped, I think the rules book, and you had like the entire Legion, what a Legion would look
yeah, yeah,
like,
yeah,
and it had everything in there. I feel like they haven't done that. They've just
yeah.
come up with tac squads,
Mm.
and now tac squads do everything. And maybe in the future we'll get something else,
Yeah,
and that will just get wedged in.
yeah,
You know what I mean? I feel like they could have done a bit more forward thinking
yeah,
and
yeah,
come up with some units, and whether we
yeah,
get rules or not, just flesh it out a bit. But
yeah.
that was probably my biggest takeaway. Like I did really enjoy this book. I like the way they've
There's
dealt.
lots to like about this book. Like, there's lots to like.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. But so in this episode, we are going to look at the Skitarii, the Steel Hands of Mars. We're going to break it down. We're going to have a look at the lore, the missions, new units, and Rob has done a quick allied detachment list that we will look at the end as well. So, the Skitarii serve the Fabricator General. The Fabricator General serves the Mechanicum.
That's a big thing. That's a big that actually like that sentence there. The whole book actually hinges around that for the
Yes.
Skitarii as well, whether they're
Yeah.
loyalist or traitor. Like
Yeah.
it just the whole book really hinges around that sentence,
Yeah.
which is interesting. That
And this is
binary
something
like, logic.
this is something to really think about. The Skitarii are not Mechanicum. The Skitarii are the personal force of the Fabricator General. Yeah, this is the personal force. Because I'd always had in my head that Skitarii are like just guarding
Yeah,
like
bases,
Forge
right?
Worlds and whatnot, and they probably were, but only if the Fabricator General said so.
Yeah,
So the Skitarii are the loyal soldiers of the Fabricator General, answering only to him, not the wider Mechanicum or the Imperium.
no,
They are charged with exploring the galaxy, recovering and securing valuable and dangerous relics for the Mechanicum. Each Skitarii begins its life as a thrall to the Forge before being grafted into their Corpus Skitarii. So the Corpus Skitarii is not just armor and augmetics. It basically rewrites the individual, so
yeah,
they fucking download all the information that armor holds, and it gives them access to basically centuries of knowledge,
yeah,
which is
yeah.
contained within that armor.
Yeah,
So
it's really cool this, isn't it? Because it's like
yeah, I really like
basically
the way
as
they've
soon
done
as
this.
they don the mantle of the Corpus Skitarii, which is essentially like the armor of the Skitarii, um,
Yeah,
all of the previous wearers of that armor you kind of gets downloaded into their brain.
you get all
And
that experience.
and
Yeah,
like within the book, it kind of talks about the fact that as soon as they don the mantle of the Corpus Skitarii, they become hardened veterans because they have the
yeah,
years, like
yeah, yeah,
centuries of
yeah,
experience from it, which is
yeah.
yeah, which is absolutely awesome. Yeah,
And then even when they die, their death,
yeah,
their experience is passed on.
yeah, 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 yeah.
And I like it. It talks about so when an armor is made, it's printed with like a number
Mm,
for that armor. So different like Skitarii will behave differently. Like some are
mm,
like ultra violent, some are
mm,
like we're gonna guard this thing.
mm.
So the number printed on it denotes like kind of what they are, where they're based, and what they're going to be used for.
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
only right at the end is the number of how many people have used that armor.
Yeah, 100%. One of the other things that it says within the book, and it's interesting because they do only answer to the Fabricator General.
Mm,
We'll talk about the loyalist and the traitor,
mm.
like, and the reason why that there's a split within the Skitarii a little bit later. But it does talk about the fact that although they don't necessarily have access to a lot of equipment that they might need. Like they've got specialists like Skitarii equipment or
Yeah,
whatever,
yeah,
but
yeah,
sometimes they do need to work with other Forge Worlds. And it was
yeah,
saying that basically because these like Magos of Forge Worlds, these Archmagos are, they're essentially Imperial governors in and of themselves. And if Skitarii come along and then throw their weight around, the Archmagos really hate that. They like so there has to be some kind of diplomacy that Skitarii has to have when kind of talking with other Archmagos or Magi, because the Skitarii do need quite a lot of equipment from all these other like Forge
yeah.
Fanes
It's interesting, isn't it?
Forge Worlds and stuff.
It talks in the book about how they get loaned like tanks
Yeah,
and stuff, and they're
yeah,
like, oh, we'll come and defend your forge if it ever comes under attack. If
yeah,
you loan us,
yeah.
a load of tanks for 100
Few
years.
Krios Venators and stuff like that.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
yeah,
I
but
quite like
like,
that.
but if they start throwing the Fabricator General's name around, they get like that really pisses off like the Archmagos that they have to interact with.
But I love the fact with that number that literally when you die, you are like when
It's
you're
brilliant.
Skitari,
Yeah,
you are literally
yeah,
just a number, and
yeah.
you're not even the most important number of that. The
No,
armor is the more
yeah,
important number than
yeah.
actually you
Yeah,
are.
you're also immortal, aren't you? Really, in many ways,
Well,
like as a
yeah, yeah,
Skitarii.
or
Yeah,
they just don't give a fuck about you and they
no,
care more about the armor.
the armor. Yeah,
So there are approximately 30 conclaves of Skitarii at the outbreak of the heresy, with two-thirds following the traitor fabricator general into Horus's service.
Yeah,
Each conclave consists of around 80 to 90,000 Skitarii.
a lot.
Yes, so each conclave would be dedicated to a specific theme for searching. Some were interested in plasma or graviton assets, some were even charged with recovering
Yeah.
Xenos
Like
artifacts.
a conclave had a specialization, like, and it kind of was
Yeah,
like, oh, I'm
yeah,
just like
yeah,
massively into plasma technology, and that's the only
yeah.
thing that we're really into, and that's the thing we hunt. And other guys are like, oh, we're going to be hunting down these like, Slaneshi dildos that like we're just massively into. Like, it's just, by the late heresy, it's absolute chaos.
Yeah, I wonder how much like really good tech has been lost because they're like, that's not plasma.
Yeah, literally that.
Like,
Like,
fuck, you
no,
fucking idiots. All you have
let's
to
just
do is pick
grab
it
like
up.
over the shoulder. Yeah,
So while some of the artifacts were brought to Mars, the majority were held in the deep tech archives of Phobos, kept under lock and key by the first conclave, as being too fragile or too potent to ever see the light
yeah.
of
And
day.
yeah, Phobos is a moon, isn't it? It's like
Yeah,
a moon where basically all this shit is under lock and key.
stored.
But it's under lock and key um, because a lot of that stuff is under lock and key as well, and it can't be used
Yeah,
because
well,
of the
yeah,
pact
the
with
Emperor.
the emperor. And the emperor's like, you
Yeah,
can't use this shit. These Slaneshi dildos that you found are just way too.
put it back.
Nobody can handle that
Put
shit.
it back.
But don't use it.
So the loyalty of the Skitarii to Kelbor House. So for those that don't know, Kelbor House is the Fabricator General before the Horus Heresy. He is the guy who is in charge of the whole of the Mechanicum.
Yeah,
So the loyalty of the Skitarii to Kelbor House was assumed to be beyond question. However, when the heresy started and Mars fell to civil war, a third of the conclave swore allegiance to Zagreus Kane as the new fabricator generals. The Zagreus Kane was basically Kelbor Howe's second in command, essentially, wasn't he?
yeah, yeah,
And the basis of this was pure logic. The Skitarii must serve the fabricator general, who must serve the Mechanicum. In his treacherous actions, Kelborhal was only serving himself and therefore forfeited the title of fabricator general.
yeah,
So I really like the idea of that.
yeah,
And it's written in some of the stories. We'll go into some of the stories where it's literally pure logic.
yeah,
And there's one of the stories where two Skitarii units meet each other, like loyalist and traitor. And it's literally pure logic. And then at the end, they're like, yeah, fell on.
yeah,
Just start
yeah,
shooting each other.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
like we agree to
yeah,
disagree, like all
yeah.
very civil. And then they
Literally that.
just start blasting.
It's quite if you've ever read I'm not sure you've read it, but it's a short story called Binary Succession, which basically
Oh, I don't
is
think I
the
have.
birth of the Adeptus Mechanicus, and essentially the power play that the Mechanicum, like Zadrius Kane, essentially does through his emissary, and it's fucking brilliant. Like it's
Oh,
one of the
right.
best like short stories, the Binary
What's it called?
Succession
Sorry?
stories. But I think it's called Binary Succession.
To
Um,
write that down.
and it's absolutely fantastic. And it kind of talks about the decision to support Kel Bahal or
Right.
Zagreus Kane. It's 0 or 1. You're either with them,
Yeah,
with
yeah,
someone,
yeah.
or you have that binary choice. And it's absolutely brilliant short story. And it's great actually to read prior to reading like the Skitarii book.
Interesting,
Yeah, it's good.
interesting.
Yeah, it's cool.
So this basis was of pure logic. The Skitarii, oh, I've said that, haven't I?
Yeah,
During the war, the Skitarii would aid the loyalist cause either on Kane's direct orders or simply to oppose the traitorous
that's
assets.
yeah.
And it does say in the book that they end up on Terra,
Yeah, yeah.
some loyalist
And then like
Skitarii.
basically they go to Terra and then they get given orders from Kane and it's like you need to go or you need to go find this thing like Relic Hunt or you
Mm,
need to go defend this
mm,
thing and they kind of get sent out into the wider galaxy, but some do remain
mm.
on Terra.
So Kelbor Howe acted swiftly to prevent more Skitarii following the logic of turning against him. He infected those loyal to him with scrap code that made their resistance impossible.
Yeah,
So yeah, he basically scrap coded a load of Skitarii because he
yeah,
realized, hang on,
yeah.
they're not all following
Yeah,
me
and he had
down the rabbit
assumed,
hole.
yeah,
That they
he
would.
had assumed
Yeah,
that they would
yeah,
have all followed him,
yeah.
and a third of them going. He was like, "Oh, I made a bit of a, I've made a bit of a miscalculation here."
However, such actions came at a cost. Their logic processes began to degrade over time. While this did not impact their combat prowess, it made them more susceptible to wild and erratic behavior, matching that of the increasingly debased Dark Mechanicum. And as soon as I read this, I was like, I think if I do my Skitarii, I'm like not on all of them, but like the I can't think what they're called, but the sergeant's
Yeah,
equivalent,
yeah,
like sticking spikes on and shit,
yeah,
like
yeah, yeah, yeah,
doing something.
yeah.
Kelbo Hal would use Skitarii as his personal shock troops as the heresy continued, earning the name the Red Hands of Mars for
Bloody
their
red
violence
hands.
against enemies
Yeah.
and allies alike. Also, they kind of just started covering themselves in blood, didn't they?
That is literally one of the
Like,
because it talks about the blood thing being
yeah.
a direct result of the scrap code that they're infected with. Like the
Mm.
scrap code doesn't say to them, "Oh, you need to like cover yourself in blood." It's kind of like it's like an the logic engines in their brain kind of like interpret it as being like, okay, we need to like fuck ourselves up, and like an after effect is that they start like dousing themselves in the
Covering
enemy's
themselves in
blood. Yeah,
blood. Yeah, I like it. They would also continue in their quest for hidden tech, delivering it to the hands of the traitors themselves. I
yeah,
mean, the only difference now is the traitors are just getting it and using it straight away.
yeah, yeah.
It's no
There's no
longer
hiding it in
locked
a
away.
moon. Yeah,
No. So the first kind of there's like three short stories, four
yeah,
short stories.
yeah,
The first one is the Battle of Tharsis, involving some Skitarii and some Imperial fists.
yeah, man.
So with the death of innocents and Kelberhal's wave of violence declaring Mars for the War Master, the Skitarii were heavily involved in fighting against his enemies. So this is the Specular Gamma Mu, which was 600 Skitarii, and the story kind of starts that they're all just stood there like motionless, waiting for the fucking command to go. When a pair of Imperial Fist Thunderhawks kind of fly over and crash. At the silent signal of their marshal, they move out, not in response to the threat, but to seek out a particular prized vaulted relic that lay nearby. The Skitarii moved ahead of their armor, the difficult terrain posing no challenge to them, but slowing the tanks and tech priests. Now, this was interesting because it
Yeah,
says tech
we'll
priests.
talk
It's
about
like,
that a little bit
where
later.
the fuck
Yeah,
have they come from?
yeah,
Arriving at an unremarkable ravine, the enhanced sensors of the Skitarii detected waiting traps, for in this ravine lay one of the forbidden vaults containing technology, locked away by the Emperor. With the heresy beginning, they were now tasked with obtaining it from Kelbor Hal.
yeah,
So, sensing the hidden weapons and automata deployed to guard the vault, the Skitarii send in the Bonepickers. Now, this is a new unit that's mentioned in the rules for Skitarii. So they're basically just dickheads that they throw ahead of their forces.
yeah,
So the horde of thralls and serfs that followed them, as the ancient defenses triggered and slaughtered them, the Skitarii watched with no reaction.
yeah,
Like this is so Iron Warriors. It's
yeah.
like
It's good. Yeah.
bring forward the dickheads. Now march forward. And
Yep.
then watch as they get gunned down, and they're like, "Oh,
Yeah.
there's a gun there. There's a gun
Yeah,
there. There's a
literally
gun
that, isn't
there.
it? Yeah.
Okay, shall we call them back?
Yeah.
Nah, might as
Yeah.
well spend all their ammunition." With the defenses revealing their presence, the Skitarii were able to act against them, corralling the automata back. The concentrated fire of the newly arrived Cyraxus delivered radiation strong enough to fuse all their circuits. With the defenses taken offline and their casualties recovered with due care and reverence, the Skitarii advance on the vault door. So one thing I do like is the the bone pickers. Like once they've been sent forward to get murdered, the ones that remain will then go in and collect like
Yeah.
the Skitarii, but they treat it with reverence. Like even just
Yeah.
picking up like, oh, it's a Skitarii,
Yeah.
like battery pack. Oh,
Like the finger of a saint or something like
yeah,
that, isn't it? In
literally,
medieval
yeah, yeah.
medieval Europe, yeah.
The Skitarii advanced on the fault door, sealed 300 years before when the Emperor first came to Mars. As they transmit the code to open the vault, the armored head of the marshal leading the force explodes. Oh no. On the ravine walls above, the armored force of the Imperial Fist reveal their presence. Led by a vigilator after their captain was killed in the crash landing, they had detected the radiation spike from the Kragnos and come to investigate. Assault Marines descend into the Skitarii vanguard, who sell their lives to allow the main force time to withdraw. With the Skitarii withdrawn, the Imperial Fist fortify their position inside the newly opened vault, with others remaining on the cliff tops above. For the Skitarii, hours of debate was. I love this. So the marshal's been killed, and they have to elect basically a new leader. So the ordinators, is that what they're called? The
Yeah,
sergeants? I
yeah,
think it's the
yeah,
ordinators
yeah,
of this force, basically have like basically have a discussion amongst themselves. Who's the best person to fight Astartes?
Mm.
And then it's like, oh, Sheila has fucking fought Astartes before or alongside him,
Yeah,
so she's the best one. And
yeah.
it's literally like just bursts of code amongst themselves, and then within a few
They just elect.
seconds,
Yeah, yeah,
they're
yeah,
like, so the force has fought its way back. They're now holding off, and then like a couple of bursts of transmission, and then it's like you're in charge. And
yeah.
the new Marshal Specular dash 4 dash 11 dash 0 dash Tharsis had experience of fighting alongside Astartes, so clearly the
Yeah.
best one, and quickly formed a new plan of attack, switching from defense to offense with a speed that could not be matched by another
This
force.
is also actually their
Yes,
like advanced reaction as
yeah,
well.
which I
Like,
love. I
yeah, they can
fucking
elect a
love.
new like sergeant,
Yeah,
which is
yeah.
cool as fuck.
Yeah, I
Cool as
love it.
fuck.
Yeah. So they
Yeah,
have, it is one thing I love about this book is the stories do link into the
yeah.
rules
Really well, really well.
really well. But I also just love like the logic of it. It's not
Yeah,
like, oh my God, there's a Starties, quick, everyone run. It's like pull
yeah,
back, elect someone who knows how to fight Starties
yeah.
because
That's rock and roll. Yeah.
old Bob got his head blown off, and then we'll go again. So, throwing the majority of the force, some 400 Skitarii at the vault door, they take horrific losses to the emplaced fists and the snipers above, but fight on through injuries that would fell a normal soldier. So this is another cool bit, because obviously
Mm.
they're two wounds.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
He
It links
talks
really well.
about
Yeah,
how they like lose an arm and just keep
yeah.
fighting. But
Morgan.
then it
Yeah,
also, there's a bit, I don't know if it's this one, where they put all the wounded to the front.
yeah. Okay.
Because
Yeah,
they're
yeah,
like, well, you might as well die first because you're
yeah.
all already fucked up. And
The
I just
logic of
love
war.
it's exactly that. There's no
Yeah,
emotion. It's
yeah,
literally like you're not as effective as me, so you may as well die first.
yeah,
Each Skitarii was less than Astartes, but sheer mass allowed weak points to be targeted and slowly bring them down. Whilst distracted, the remaining Skitarii, led by the new Marshal, were able to flank across the cliff tops of the ravine and assault the snipers, with the Marshal herself defeating the Vigilator at the edge of the cliff. As the cliff-top battle was won, the main Skitarii force fell back immediately, having served their purpose of distraction. The remaining Imperial fists left without their top cover were forced to fall back to the positions within the vault door itself.
yeah. The Skitarii Marshal actually just kicks the Vigilator off the cliff, and he's just like
Literally, it's
a
pretty
broken
cool.
husk
Like,
at the bottom of the
yeah,
ravine. It's
yeah,
great. Yeah, it's awesome. A great like diorama for Golden Demon. A Skitarii fighting a Vigilator, I
yeah,
think, would be
yeah,
absolutely
yeah.
brilliant.
Plus, everyone loves a dead Imperial fist.
Yeah, too right.
The Imperial Fists had made two mistakes. They had underestimated the lengths the Skitarii would go to achieve their objective, and they had no idea of the value of the prize they had unwittingly stumbled into the
Yeah,
defense.
yeah. They hadn't realized what that was there.
No,
They hadn't like. They were just like
they'd
they
literally
obviously
picked
crash
up on the
landed nearby.
radiation, hadn't they?
Yeah,
They're like, oh,
yeah,
there's radiation over there. Let's go see what that is.
yeah.
Because, that's what everyone, oh, radiation.
Let's
Let's
get
walk towards the radiation.
yeah, fuck.
Just got like, what was that program we watched around yours? The
Chernobyl, Chernobyl, Chernobyl.
Chernobyl. I got visions of that. Like, let's go and melt.
10,000 Rotkin. Yeah, let's go towards it.
As the Skitarii prepared for their final assault, Cold Logic, here you go, Cold Logic put the wounded in the front rank to absorb the Astartes fire and protect those behind. Like, I absolutely love
Yeah,
that. It's not like, oh no, Bob, you've got a fucking hurty wound on your arm. Like,
yeah,
let's
yeah,
get
yeah.
you to the back and get you looked after. It's
Shove
like,
you in with no arms,
yeah,
Bob. Come on,
yeah,
let's get fighting.
You can't
You'll
do
live forever.
anything.
You'll be reborn in another
You
one
might
of
as well
us.
catch a bullet. Go
Yeah,
on. The assault marines dumped their jump packs, useless in the confined space, but one by one they fell. As the last blow was struck against the final fist, the phase claws of the marshal carried through his body, opening the final door to the hidden archaeotech. The moment of triumph was quickly stolen when the numerous melter charges stuck to their prize activated. The marshal ordered her forces to withdraw while she attempted in vain to disarm it. The ensuing explosion destroys the vault and much of the ravine. The Skitarii paused long enough, I love this, long enough to elect a new marshal, which is like 3 seconds, before returning to the hunt for more technology on the Martian surface. So again, this was quite a cool story because it's
yeah,
like, oh, they're going to get beat. Oh, no, they're going to win. Oh
yeah,
no, they lost at the end.
yeah,
I quite like it when the main people you're following actually lose. It
yeah,
doesn't happen very often.
yeah,
But then they're just like, oh well, fuck it.
Yeah, let's just go
Let's move on to the next one. We
find some
can't
more
do that.
plasma technology.
Yeah,
All good.
yeah.
Yeah.
Let's go find some more
In
Slaneshi dildos.
in the book as well, in this story, it basically says like the Skitari Marshal stays behind to try and like unpick this like tangle of wires and trying to sort it out. But they're not tech priests. Like it makes it very
Yes,
specific that
yeah,
although they hunt technology, they are warriors at heart and they're
yeah,
trained warriors, and that's what their lives are about. They're not. They might, hold Kelbahal in reference or
yeah,
Zagreus Kane, but they've got no idea how to defuse a bomb. That's not their jam. So they could give it a
yeah.
go, but it's be like me trying to defuse a bomb. It's going to
But
end in,
then,
in tears.
to me, I don't know if it's mentioned in the book, but it kind of makes sense. If I'm going to
Yeah,
send people out to get this horrific
yeah,
shit that I'm going to use on people,
yeah,
it's probably best that they don't know
yeah.
what they're
What it
doing,
is? Yeah,
because
yeah,
otherwise
yeah,
they might get ideas of like,
yeah,
you know
yeah.
what?
I could use this. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
So,
yeah. It's interesting.
yeah.
Yeah, cool.
So
Love
the
this
next
story. This was my
story.
favorite
Oh,
favorite
okay.
story. This
This,
one.
yeah. So the
Yeah,
loyalty paradox. So this was the one where essentially two Skitarii forces
yeah,
meet. So the Skitari's loyalty to the Fabricated General is unwavering and unbreakable. So they were forewarned of the death of innocents, as there was no chance they would turn against their masters. So this was what we said. This was the
yeah,
belief. The
yeah.
Fabricated General believed that no Skitarii would turn against him because he's the Fabricated General. So he thought he was safe with his Skitarii. 12 hours after Mars erupted into civil war, a squadron of unmarked ships approached the armored moon of Phobos with Skitarii codes. The defenders were stood down as their loyalty was never in doubt. Some 3,000 Skitarii boarded the moon, not in parade formation but ready for battle, covered in the red dust of Mars, destroying the small force that had been expecting to meet them. The automated defences and servitors were no match for the efficient trained soldiers of the Skitarii, who advanced quickly into the inner areas of the fortress. Knowing the full weight of the defences would be turned against them quickly, they made rapid progress to the central vaults using cartographic information that all Skitarii knew.
So just
Re-
just before we carry on, so it goes into some detail about the order that that Kelbahal basically gives the Skitarii, and it calls it General Order Omega 99. And if you're thinking that sounds familiar, it's quite like Order 66 within Star
yeah,
Wars, because
yeah,
basically Kelbahal's like, okay, like a few hours before the death of like the attack, against like the loyalists, like Forge Fanes and whatever. He's like, right, okay, we're gonna stab these guys in the back, and it makes it out to be like execute Omega 99. Pretty cool. But I think there's
yeah.
some
I
kind of
like that.
like link with Order 66 there, I think.
Yeah. Reaching the vast expanse of the icy central vault, they found themselves in contact with another defending Skitarii force. A short binaric conversation followed, with the defenders asking how they could
Yeah,
defy the
this is
will of
what
the
you were saying, isn't
fabricated
it? They were like
general.
having a
Yeah.
bit of a chat.
Yeah, the opposing marshals stated that they were still loyal to the fabricated general, but Kelborhal's actions had made him ineligible for the office of fabricated general. Therefore, logic made Sacrus Kane the rightful fabricated general.
Yeah,
This is a bit I love. The defending
yeah,
force concurred with this logic,
yeah,
but their
yeah,
standing orders to defend the vault from
yeah,
any forces had not been countermanded, and therefore still stood.
yeah,
Both sides decided that that conflict was the only option.
yeah.
The entire conversation took 8.2 seconds before both sides drew weapons and opened fire. The defending Skitarii commander became the first ever Skitarii killed by one of their own.
So cool. This is so awesome. This is really fucking cool.
This just has like real, to me in my head, has like real
Yeah,
kind of
yeah.
Napoleonic era kind of
Mm.
vibes of like, hello, chap.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
you're in the
yeah,
wrong. No, we're in doing this and this.
yeah, yeah,
Oh, okay. Well, suppose we just have a scrap anyways.
yeah. If you're into like emotionless, soulless warfare, like Skitarii is definitely for you. If
I
you want to
am,
embody like
I am
emotionless warfare,
all about this. I am a
yeah,
big fan of
yeah,
like, yeah, no, you make some really good points, but
yeah. But we have to fight.
we have to defend it.
Yeah, yeah,
The defenders had the advantage of established positions and numbers, but the attackers had a pure, driven desire to kill their enemy, so threw themselves into the fight with absolute devotion. As the attackers were whittled down to the last few, no offers of quarter or surrender were made or requested. Fighting to the last, the final fighters took refuge near the valuable cryogenic vaults, knowing the defenders would not risk damaging them with firepower, forcing them to dig them out in brutal melee combat. Even as the last attackers were killed, the sensors still recorded intruders. A separate force using the distraction had penetrated a deeper vault and secured the singular objective, the sarcophagus of the first fabricated
This is what it
general.
was all about. This is it, wasn't it? It wasn't.
Nice,
It was a
sneaky
yeah. This
bastards.
is what it was all about. This is what they were really there for. Those loyalist Skitarii.
Retreating to their ship and carrying it back to space, they knew the defenders would not dare attack them lest they damage the most revered of relics.
Yeah.
Now, I love this story, but I do feel like,
Yeah.
you know, like most places nowadays have like security cameras. You know what I mean? Like if a door opens, an alarm goes off.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
question the
Always,
ability
always the stern critic in plot
of an
holes.
entire force to just like, surprise, we've taken
Yeah.
your most revered relic and you
Yeah.
didn't even realize.
Yeah, I take that point. It's interesting that there was no explanation in terms of like, oh, the first fabricated general has some technology in him or something like that. It's literally like stealing a holy relic. You know, it's so revered and so
Yeah, yeah,
important
yeah,
to
yeah,
them
yeah. Yeah, no,
that
it's exactly that.
like it is integral that the loyalists who view themselves as the loyalists, I guess, the tracers view themselves as loyalists, but the loyalists have it, and it's a
Yeah.
prize. Yeah, it'd be like a piece, I guess, in the
It's like
Crusader
the
period,
the
like the piece of the True Cross or something like that. You know,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
equivalent of that kind of thing.
I don't know much about religion, being an absolute heathen, but
You know, the Turin Shroud or something. You know, something the equivalent
yeah,
of
yeah,
that.
yeah,
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 yeah. That that one. Yeah, yeah,
yeah, yeah,
yeah. Uh, yeah, exactly that. I mean, Mars is essentially a religion, isn't it?
yeah. That's exactly what
So
it is.
it's
Yeah,
exactly that. Yeah.
yeah.
And then the third story, the Coronid Legacy. Oh, there's a bit in this that I fucking love. I absolutely love. There's one part of this story that I'm like, if they made a film, it would be hilarious.
Yeah.
So as the main bulk of Horus force began their assault on the solar system, a single Sons of Horus cruiser settled into orbit above the planet of Cambrai. Cambrai?
Cambrai, let's call it that.
World that had been spared destruction during compliance at the request of the Emperor himself. The ancient city of Mithras, which had existed since before the Long Night, was mercilessly destroyed from orbit before the Sons of Horus landed their forces in the ruins. The city was built atop an ancient power kept hidden on the word of the Emperor. The Radamanthus, was a 3-meter sphere of cold metal. Although the exact nature of it was unknown, it was enough to give the Emperor pause. It might have the ability to help break the stalemate. However, there's always a however. Before they could fully excavate the item, another ship entered orbit from the Forge world of Mazoa and began unloading attack craft into the area. The Sons of Horus created the defensive barriers, relying on tarantulas to intercept the incoming forces. Landing on the outskirts of the city outside the range of the guns, the attackers stepped foot on the surface, disciples of the flame, black shields that had left their legion behind. The blasted remains of the city hampered any progress, with both sides settling into a protracted, long-range firefight. The second wave of attackers were a Skitarii force. Rather than reinforce the Astartes, they moved into a wide flanking pattern. Their unique build meaning they could traverse the debris easily. Waiting for them were the Sons of Horus elites, left in defense of the Radamanthus. Detecting the approach, the Sons of Horus commander and his command squad took positions into an open square, demanding honorable combat. I fucking love this bit. The Skitarii, with literally no concept of honor or desire for glory, simply flanked around this force and continued to their objective, engaging the line troops
Right.
left to defend it.
Don't
Oh, I
think
love
we'll
that.
be
Just
doing
some
that today.
fight me,
Yeah, like
fight me. Like,
no,
no, I
no,
don't
no.
want to. Oh, you
Yeah,
look really hard. I'm not
yeah.
fighting you.
Basically, they've just done the Sons of Horus Gambit to the Sons of Horus. They're like, no, your weapon skill's higher than us. We're going to be walking
Just
along now.
absolutely pulled his pants down. That's what
Yep,
they've done. They're
yep,
just
yep.
absolutely
I love it.
stitched him up. Whilst the Skitarii were no match for the Astartes 1-on-1, their sheer numbers wore down the defenders, despite losing 3 or 4 of their own for each Sons of Horus killed. And this is one thing I like with all the stories, is there's no like, you know, the Skitarii suddenly become
Yeah.
superhuman and
Yeah.
murder all like when they get into combat with the Astartes just kick fuck into them.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just they rely on numbers.
Yeah.
Reacting to the change, the Astartes on the front line withdrew from the Black Shields, leaving only a few skirmishers to continue to pin the attackers down. The Sons of Horus commander fired his jump pack, making a rash charge into the teeth of the enemy in an attempt to cover his shame. The jump pack assault was rash and foolhardy, with many of their number impaling themselves on the ruins. So this was interesting. They all rolled fucking one.
Yeah.
However, the sheer insanity of it surprised the logic-driven Skitarii. So I do like that because that is the downside of using logic.
Yeah.
Is when
Yeah.
your enemy doesn't use logic,
Yeah.
suddenly
You can't. But it's unpredictable, isn't it? Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
this it's an interesting thing. It's something they looked at with fighting in places like Africa where they use child soldiers. Like because the kids would just do fucking mental shit because they're not trained soldiers. It would throw off like trained units because
Right.
they're like,
Interesting.
what the fuck are they doing?
Interesting. Interesting.
Yeah, so it's actually quite an interesting thing. Yeah,
Yeah.
so that's their kind of their
Yeah, because
weakness,
you
their
expect
downside.
you expect human beings to act in a certain way, and when they
And then
don't,
when they if they're
it
drug
pulls you
crazed
apart.
or whatever, and they
Yeah,
just
yeah,
fucking
yeah.
run
It's the
at you,
same
like,
here,
oh,
right? Yeah, I
yeah,
like that.
yeah.
That's really cool, actually. Yeah, that's nice.
You like the story of the Skitarii or the children?
Yeah, I like the logic behind the story there. The logic behind the story.
Yeah. Victory for the Sons of Horus seemed possible until the Skitarii armor caught up, punishing blast hammering into the Astartes. The survivors were either pushed back into the vault or forced into the incoming guns of the Black Shields. The last few Sons of Horus, including their commander, were ruthlessly cut apart by Skitarii, mere feet from the weapon they came to secure. The Black Shields would spend the next few days making sport of hunting the Sons of Horus out of the ruins,
Love it.
while the Skitarii simply secured the weapon, then departed in an ordered fashion with no fanfare or celebration. So yeah, the Black Shields are like, we going hunting.
Yeah,
The Skitarii are like, yeah,
we're on to the next job now,
you
lads.
guys crack on. We've got
Yeah,
what we came for.
yeah,
So that was the three kind of main stories, wasn't it? Then they
yeah,
have the bloody trials of the Skitarii, which is kind of
yeah.
like loads of little,
Yeah, it's just
little
a timeline of kind of like some of the critical
yeah.
kind of like
But it's
stories.
funny, isn't it? Because I read this as either the bloody trials of the Skitarii, as in, like, because it's all covered with blood and murder, or
Yeah.
the bloody hell, like, oh, the bloody
Yeah.
Skitarii. The bloody trials of the Skitarii.
Yeah.
Fuck.
There's some cool stuff in here, though, I think. The Rangdan
Yeah.
disappearance was like basically, Skitari force was sent to Zana to kind of like hem like Malanax and Zana in. But then the Skitari force just went to go to the Forbidden World of Rangdan, and then no trace of them was ever found again. So whether that's something that
Yes.
will be picked up again, or whether that's almost like a nod to like the previous books that we've had, the black books. And
Yeah.
it's just kind of like, yeah, we know the black books exist, and we know there's lore that exists within there, and we just want to give that like a gentle nod. We're not going to do anything with it in the future, but it's just a gentle nod to that. I think it's cool. It's a nice little touch, I think.
Yeah. Do you want to read through these or?
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
the most
okay.
interesting one, the one that kind of I thought was most interesting was the Broken Key and the War of Bitter Iron, because we had looked at the War of Bitter Iron when we looked at the Saturnine book, when the Iron Hands basically brought a piece of like Medusa's, the iron ring that kind of was around Medusa.
Oh
And
shit. Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah,
Iron
yeah,
Hands
yeah.
basically kind of like started a war against the Colchians and
Yes.
stuff like
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
And I
yeah.
was like, I wonder how this kind of like started. And this is basically how it kind of all began, which I didn't realize. So yeah,
Okay, well let's have a quick read through these. So this in the book is presented as like a
it's just
a
a timeline,
timeline,
isn't
isn't
it?
it? Yeah. So the Broken Keys. Shortly after Istvan, the word bearers land several detachments of Skitarii on Medusa with the intent of raiding the Iron Hand's deepest vaults, the Keys of Hell.
Yeah.
Despite looting several valuable pieces of technology, the assault galvanizes the Iron Hands
Yeah.
and leads to their assault on the culture system and the War of Bitter Iron.
Yeah, which is what we see within the Saturnine, like the Saturnine book, which me and Lee did a episode on
Yeah,
previously. Like
but
the
I
War
do
of
like the
Bitter Iron.
fact that it's the word bearers that are landing the Skitarii. It
Man,
kind of goes to show.
yeah, I think this is really interesting from like where do you take your Skitarii force as well? So it's not, I think that they didn't work alongside the legions. And in this
Yeah.
scenario, like the word bearers are using them as a tool because they are relic hunters and they're expert relic hunters.
Mm.
And kind of it works really nicely. What I will say is that your word bearer Skitarii or working alongside they are not in the panoply of the word bearers. Like they
No.
are still loyal to the Fabricator General.
Yeah.
So when I went in initially, I was like, "Oh, cool, right? I'll do my, I'll do my Skitarii in like blue, like to be ultra, like."
Yeah,
But
yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking.
that's
Yeah,
not
yeah.
how
No.
Skitarii with like hazard stripes on them or whatever. That's not how the
No,
infrastructure
no, but I wouldn't
works.
say that there would, like I feel like you could get away with, putting a symbol on or doing something
Yeah,
because
yeah,
because
yeah, for sure.
they're fighting alongside each
Yeah,
other.
yeah,
There's gonna end up being a moment where one does something cool and like so for my force. So I was planning to do mine essentially like silver, maybe red, but with hazard stripes
yeah, yeah.
to kind of go alongside because even
Mm.
my Mechanicum is done in the color scheme of Iron Warriors.
Yeah, yeah.
But as soon as I read this, I was like, no, like
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
that's not how they work.
yeah. It's
But
interesting. Yeah,
I still think like a cheeky hazard stripe here and there
yeah.
wouldn't be
On a
amiss.
cable or two. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
but
Yeah.
I mean, if anything, it's quite nice to
Oh,
paint
yeah.
something different,
Different.
like
That's
just
it.
to do
Yeah.
something different.
Base them the same, but paint them different. Like,
Yeah,
yeah. I think that yeah, you could do a lot.
yeah,
You can
yeah.
have a lot of fun with this. Yeah.
So the harrowing of Lastrati. The World Eaters attacked the 9 worlds of Lastrati, which were defended by members of 4 separate conclaves of loyalist Skitarii. They fight valiantly, including alongside a Titan Legio, but all the defense is for naught when the Conqueror enters the system, uses its Ursa's Claw to open the massive portal to the planet's interior, allowing a significant assault, including Demon Angron, to sweep aside the remaining defenders. Like, you don't really stand a
No,
chance, do
Skitarii
you?
just have no chance, basically.
No.
Yeah.
And then the one Rob mentioned, the Rangdan disappearance. A full loyalist Skitarii conclave are dedicated by the new Fabricator General himself to keep the traitor Forge world of Xanadu isolated from the wider war. However, records recovered after the war show the entire force departed for the forbidden planet of Rangdan. No trace of conclave or any reason why they did so is ever found.
Yeah.
Like, that's cool. I like shit
Yeah.
like this
Yeah.
because then
Yeah.
you can just create that force if you
Yeah.
want it.
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
is the lost
Massively
force.
like got like Rangdan like
Yeah, yeah,
tentacles
yeah.
coming out of them or whatever. I
Yeah,
don't know,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yeah, like it's pretty. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
A vault of
Now,
Cyraxus.
I was going to ask you about this. So and somebody in the
Oh.
comments can let us know. Um, uh,
Oh, fuck
yes,
yes.
Kerry's actually put it here. This was meant to be a 40k
Yes.
campaign book, which unlocks basically like the Castellax, the Thalax, all that shit. It was an Imperial armor book, wasn't it?
Yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah.
what it was intended to be.
I remember sitting, were you there?
Maybe, yeah, I think I might have been. Yeah,
I think it was a Warhammer day.
yeah, yeah, yeah. An
And
open
I
day,
can't
walking
remember if
day.
it was Alan Bly, but I think it might have been or someone from the Forge World team were basically like, this is the next book coming
Yeah,
for 40k.
yeah.
And yeah, it was the Cyrax.
It was just shit canned.
And it was going
Like,
to
yeah,
be
yeah,
all the resin
yeah,
Forge World
yeah,
Mechanicum units getting rules for 40k.
yeah. But it was. I think
And
they had
literally, do
written
you
it.
know why it
Like,
didn't come out? Do you know why they never released it?
I can't remember.
So
Yeah,
this is peak Games Workshop. So Forge World had worked on this book.
yeah.
They'd created
I'd
it,
heard
like
that
it
they
was
finished
ready
it.
to go. Yeah, it was
Yeah,
ready
yeah,
to go.
yeah,
Yeah, it
yeah,
was good to go. But they didn't tell them, the 40k team didn't tell them
Oh, that's
that they
right.
were releasing 8th edition. So
Right.
they were
Okay.
literally released 8th edition, and Forge
Yeah.
World were like, "The fuck is
I'm
this?"
sorry.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then they never released the book because
Uh,
the rules wouldn't work because obviously 8th edition was
yeah, yeah. So
totally
so
different.
different from seventh. Yeah, yeah.
And that was it. It just fucking got thrown in the bin.
Man, and
But yeah, I
I
remember
like.
sitting
Yeah,
through
yeah, yeah,
a talk of they were
yeah,
saying like all the Castellax are coming, they're going to
yeah.
get rules. Yeah. Oh fuck. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
interesting.
and so I actually appreciate again. This is the second nod. which is I appreciate the fact that they've put this into the timeline, which is that this is
Yeah.
the book that never was, the
Well,
dog that didn't bark in the night, right?
I
Like,
wouldn't be amazed
yeah,
if we ever got a journal based off it, because some poor
yeah, yeah,
fucker wrote the entire book
yeah, yeah,
and then they
and
never
the
did
lore.
anything with it.
Yeah, so
Yeah, holy
this was really
shit.
cool. This was
Yeah,
really cool to
okay.
see.
So
Yeah,
Vaults of Cyraxus. So cut off from the wider Mechanicum and the war, the Skitarii on the remote forge world of Cyraxus started to stockpile technology in the vault. By the end of the heresy, it is likely the greatest repository of techno-arcana and Mechanicum assets outside of the solar system. However, with the destruction of the Skitarii in battle, its location is lost forever. Dot, dot,
yeah.
dot. And the 40k campaign book that never happened. Yeah, okay, that's
It
crazy.
was called.
Fuck, I
I
hadn't
just checked.
linked.
I just checked. It's the fires of the book was called the Fires of Cyraxus. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I can't remember where it was, but yeah, I literally remember sitting through a because I was still playing 40k at the time. I
Mm.
want to say it was still
Man,
seventh
like
edition.
you're not going to be able to see this, but Tau were involved in it as well. You can't see it, but basically, like they showed off like the
Interesting.
color plates for
Yeah,
the
yeah,
Fires
yeah.
of Cyraxus. Like it was a whole thing.
Ah,
Like
mate.
it was
Yeah, I
ready to go.
remember. I remember. I can't remember where it was. Someone might know because I'm
Mm.
sure someone else was there. Um, but yeah, they did a whole talk about it. This is coming. This is the book that's coming, and then
Mm.
it never came. There you go.
Interesting.
Yeah, I love that. That's fucking awesome.
Mm.
I hadn't linked that to that book. So
Yeah,
the
nice.
end of the Mechanicum, with the birth of the Adaptus Mechanicus, there is concern that Skitari's hardwired loyalty to the Fabricator General may be an issue with the dissolution of that position. Several diehard divisions are quietly disposed
Mm.
in accidentally exploding shuttles or sent on suicide missions to secure the transition.
Accidentally, brutally cut off their own heads while having a shave, right?
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
yeah. It's very
Yeah.
Thunder Warrior-esque, isn't
This
it?
yeah, and this made me kind of go, there are no good guys in this. Like the
No,
Fabricator
yeah,
General, Zagreus
yeah.
Kane, is killing the
Bastard.
loyal Skitari because basically the
They're
Adeptus
too fucking
Mechanicus,
because they're too loyal.
yeah, they're just like you're loyal to the old ways. Because that binary succession book basically talks about why they have to convert to the Adeptus Mechanicus and why it kind of why basically like need a seat on the council, and it's important that
Yeah.
they're within the greater bureaucracy of like the Imperium. They can't be like
Mm.
an outside force any longer.
Yeah.
But yeah, really interesting. So yeah, a good example. There are no good guys in the Horus Heresy.
Yeah, 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 yeah. So the fall of Phobos. With Horus' final assault on Imperial Palace, all logic suggests that the traitors will achieve victory. A coalition of loyalist Skitarii launched a desperate assault on Phobos, finding it full of dark mechanicum constructs and perversions. When they secure it, they expect it to be a temporary victory. However, with a loyalist victory on Terra, the moon remains
Yeah.
in their hands, but many of its relics have been taken by the traitor forces already.
Ooh. Yeah.
Yeah, so they're like, oh, we won, but we'll probably have to run away. Oh no,
Yeah.
we actually won.
We got it, but we've entered an empty kind of like an empty
Yeah,
storeroom.
yeah,
All the traitors have
yeah,
made off with all the dark
yeah. It's
Slaneshi dildo.
just one Slaneshi dildo left in the corner, just jackhammering away.
Yeah, boy. Right, should we take a quick break here before we
Yeah,
head
yeah,
into the
yeah.
missions? Awesome. Heresy Hammer is proudly sponsored by BANDUA Wargames. BANDUA Wargames is a wargaming retailer based in Spain. Their stock is vast and covers every game imaginable, but most importantly, it also covers the Horus Heresy. They also create high quality MDF terrain for wargaming. This includes sets for frontline wargaming, as well as battles set within the confines of a battle barge. We have been using their Zone Mortalis set at Heresy Hammer HQ, and we are absolutely loving it. It's modular, high quality, robust, and easy to store. They also offer a range of accessories for Heresy Gaming as well. Heresy Hammer patrons receive a 10% discount on all their own brand terrain, accessories and mats. Make sure you check out BANDUA Wargames today via their website, banduawargames.com.
Right, welcome back. Hopefully you enjoyed that little break. So we'll go into the missions now. This is so they in the book they have the legendary mission and then they have like a load of relic missions. So the legendary mission is essentially based off the first
Story, yeah.
kind of short story
Yeah.
about the Imperial Fist defending the relic. So I do really like the fact that they've made a mission
Yes, cool.
off the story.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty cool. So legendary mission, the Vaults of Tharsis, is based around the skirmish in the lore section of the book. It's 3,000 points, narratively played between Imperial Fists and Traitor Skitarii. It's strange with all these missions that they've set like it has to be played at 3,000 points
Mm,
because
mm.
I don't see why you would have to play this at 3,000 points.
Yeah,
There's
it's
nothing
interesting.
about it that makes me think you couldn't do 2,000 or
Yeah,
4,000 or whatever.
yeah,
So I take that with a pinch of salt. The board should be set up to recreate the valley with little cover and essentially busy edges.
mm,
Kerry's written here, but how like, some people struggle to actually create a valley on a tabletop. So I think if you did like scatter terrain around the edges and then just
yeah. A
said
few
that's
rocks here and
higher,
there. Go to the
you know what I
garden,
mean?
get a few rocks or whatever. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. So when deploying, each player places one unit in the board. Every subsequent unit they roll a d6 before deploying on a one. That unit must go into reserves instead. Does he mention about? So I'm sure this is the mission where if you have models that can't move and they go into reserve, you just basically they're gone. Is this
right.
the
Yeah.
one?
Okay.
I'm sure it is. In fact, let's just pause quickly there.
Yeah, sure.
So yeah, so if you have a model or a unit that has a movement characteristic of 0 and it ends up in reserve, then basically those units are placed to one side and can't be used in the mission,
Yeah.
but don't count as being removed as casualties. Like I kind of like that because this is a narrative
Mm.
mission. I mean, my advice is if you're playing this mission, probably
Don't,
just don't
don't.
take anything with movement
Yeah, with the movement
characteristic of
cost of
0.
zero, right? Yeah.
Because if half your army ends up not being able to deploy, it's a kind of
Yeah.
unnecessary feel bad.
Yeah.
So that's just something to be aware of, or just ignore that rule.
Yeah.
And just if they're like movement is 0, then they just automatically can be deployed. I don't know. There's ways around it, but I feel like if you've taken like 500-600 points of
Yeah.
something with a movement 0 and then you can't deploy them. Like
Yeah.
that's not going to be fun. So the mission had a special rule, concealed sentinels. So you place 4 castellax where it's marked on the map, and during the end phase of a turn, a player can use a reaction to become the controlling player of one of those models, which was an interesting way of doing it.
Yeah.
I thought it would just be they would attack anyone who gets within a certain distance because
Hmm.
those castellax are there to protect the vault. So I personally would have liked it if they just if you come within a certain distance of them, they're just automatically going to attack you. But I kind of also like the reaction. You use a reaction to take control. So carrying the relic, any sergeant or command model that is not under a status may pick up the relic at the end of their movement phase in base contact with it. The model gains the heavy rule, may not move more than 6 inches in the movement phase, and may not embark on a transport. The relic is dropped if that model is killed or routed. And victory, the player who has the relic closest to their board edge at the end of turn 5 is the winner. So again, a turn 5. I think all these missions are 5 turns.
Yeah. I think it's interesting seeing in this edition the way in which that they've gone about basically how you carry and move a relic.
Yes,
Which is
yeah,
that they've just gone, okay, you gain the heavy rule, which I would not have thought to do, but it kind of makes sense. So the unit
yeah,
is like
yeah, yeah.
slow and can't move more than six. So yeah, that's fine. That works. I think that's good. Um, yeah, I think that's yeah. It's just interesting seeing what they would do, and I think if you are going to do your own event or playing missions with a friend, and you're doing just a relic mission, like not necessarily like this particular mission, you could just use the carry the relic um, rules that they've created as a basis for like how you would
Yeah,
move a relic around the
yeah,
table, I
yeah.
guess. Yeah.
Yeah, but I like this. I'd give this a go.
Yeah.
It doesn't blow me away, but I like the fact it's
I like the
I've
Castellax elements of it. I like
yeah, yeah,
the
yeah.
hidden
So this
Castellax
is
is
this
cool.
is basically like a funky version of the original Relic mission, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's just got a
Yeah.
little twist on it, which
Yeah.
I quite like, and I love the fact that it links in
Yeah, with the story.
to the short story.
Cool.
So then the next missions, the Relic missions,
Yeah.
they have a whole like
Like
pages
two
talking.
pages describing kind of like
Yeah,
how it works, right?
kind of just how to use the missions and how
Yeah.
to set up and everything. So the relic missions are three new 3,000 point missions and are played across 5 turns, representing your forces trying to recover valuable archaeotech salvage. The objectives do not have a fixed value at the start of the game and only gain a value when analyzed by a unit. A unit controlling an objective can make an intelligence check. So basically, you moved within 3 inches, is it,
Three. Yeah.
of an objective, and then before you can score anything for holding that objective, you do an intelligence check, and depending on how the value of how much you pass that test by is what the
Yeah.
value of the
It's worth.
objective. So a
Yeah.
minimum of 1 and a maximum of 3.
Yeah.
And once you've scored that objective, it then returns to 0 value, and you have to analyze it again.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
Line and so this is one thing in the rules. It says line and vanguard can have a major effect on the number of victory points scored from relic objectives,
Yeah.
but then doesn't in anywhere else in the missions go on to explain that. So
Yeah. So we are assuming
I
that it
would
just works in in the normal.
just the normal way, but I've seen some people presume that vanguard then gets added to
No,
what
it's
you're
not
scoring.
that way. No,
Which
I doubt
that's
that's the
not how
case.
I read it, but
No.
honestly, I read this part of the book and then I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. They must explain it within the missions themselves.
Mm.
And then nowhere do they go in any more detail of that. So it's a really wishy-washy way of just, I mean, you might like line and vanguard, a line and vanguard. You don't even need to mention it.
No.
So it's just a bit of a weird thing. I didn't really get what they were trying to get at with
All
that.
Lee was looking for was a sentence saying, "Line and Vanguard works in the usual way that it would
That's
for
literally all you
financials."
needed, isn't
Yeah.
it? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it just confused me a little bit because I was like, why even fucking mention it?
Mm.
If the analysis roll is failed, so when you do your intelligence check to determine the value of the objective,
Mm.
if you fail that, and
And roll a
oh,
double.
and rolls a
Yeah.
double. Oh,
Yeah.
interesting. I
Yeah.
thought it was
Yeah.
just failed.
No,
Okay,
no,
so
you've
if you
got to roll a
fail and
double as
roll a
well.
double,
Yeah.
then the unit takes D3 plus 3 automatic hits with strength 8, AP2 damage 1.
Savage.
That's pretty savage.
Yeah.
Although most of your Skitarii are 2 wounds, so
Yeah. True.
they're all right.
Yeah.
I quite like this. I like the fact that you have to do
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
It's a lot of words.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
If I play a game, I just want to kind of pick up a mission and be able to
It
read it.
yeah,
I don't.
Lee's right in the sense that like the mission itself is on one page, like it's half a
Yeah,
page, but the lead ups because they've got to explain some additional rules like no stone unturned and bloody ground and a few other kind of
yeah,
additional rules that are secondary mission secondary objectives. I think this is interesting for me. So when I had gone in and was like, oh, there's relic missions. I had assumed that these would be movable relic missions like we had in
yes,
Legendary. So I saw the
yeah,
map and was like, oh, okay, you got to be able to pick them up and move them. They are stationary. What we've got is basically 3 more objective based missions, but it's like if you've ever played Zone Mortalis in this edition, one of the missions you basically do an intelligence chest and you roll for it, and then that determines the VPs. Um, so in that regard, it is similar to like they're just objective based missions, but they've got a little bit of a twist on them, which I think
yeah,
is really nice. Like we've got a few different deployment maps, which is always really, really cool. And having kind of like yeah, just having extra missions is good. What I will say is any kind of mission or any kind of objective where you have to roll for it and you just happen to roll badly throughout the game, uh, you're not going to
It
score any good
leads to
hits.
a feel bad, doesn't
If
it?
you always
Yeah,
roll like really high or
yeah,
doubles, or you can't make the roll for some reason, or your opponent's got a hot hand and they're rolling double ones on the intelligence check, then you know your opponent's going to be gaining those points and you are not. So that's just
yeah,
it's just a bit random, and that's the thing I've found with these missions. I've played a couple of them now. They are just totally like they are not that balanced in the way that they are created. But they are a lot of fun, is what I would say. Like all these missions sound really cool and a lot of fun.
yeah. Just be aware that
Yeah,
you could be winning and still lose.
yeah, 100%. Yeah, yeah,
Uh, Oh, so he doesn't. So yeah, so it does.
Yeah.
They do have secondary missions, don't they? It's
Yeah, yeah.
like
There's secondary
essentially.
objectives. Like, so just a couple of things to point out with the objectives. So there's no stone unturned. The player who analysed the most relic objectives in total scores
Yeah,
victory points at the end of the battle. So the analysing is the intelligence check that we described
yeah, yeah,
before.
yeah,
And then bloody ground, the player who has destroyed the most enemy units at the end of the battle scores victory points. So it's not like last man standing; it's the opposite of that, in fact. And the number of victory points scored is equal to the value of X. And like the first mission rewards a battle is 2 points for no stone unturned and 2 points for bloody
mm.
ground as well. Um, and yeah, I just think they're pretty cool. There's some other special rules, unknown value, which we talked about, surveillance augurs, which means you can kind of like move an objective at the start of the game by 6 inches just to mix things up a bit. But yeah, in general, like they look really good. Good to have missions.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I honestly, I thought these were the weakest part of the book.
right.
I really like the Vaults of Tharsis, the
Mm,
legendary
mm,
mission they call it,
mm.
because it's just different.
Yeah,
The other ones, honestly, I just see them as slightly more complicated
yeah, yeah, yeah,
objective grabbers,
yeah,
and I'm like, I probably just couldn't be bothered with that.
yeah. Fair play.
I will be honest, these are the first ones that I've read, and I'm like, I'm not that bothered about playing these.
Yeah, fair enough. Well, I'll force you to
Um,
play one day, and then you'll be like, "Oh, these
I probably will,
missions."
yeah, yeah. It's just, I
Yeah.
don't know, I just feel like you've got three missions here, and they're all just essentially different patterns.
Oh, they're the same.
That's the only
Yeah,
thing that changes.
that is literally it.
Like literally just different patterns of how
Yeah,
the objectives are set up. Like it would have been nice to have, I don't know,
yeah. Mm.
something different in there. But more missions is not a terrible thing, is
Yeah.
it?
Nope, 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 nope,
Um,
not at all.
so then we're into the new rules for
Yeah,
the new faction, which is
yeah,
crazy. Like if you
yeah.
thought, oh fuck, I pushed something. Um, when Horus Heresy Third Edition came out, that we'd be getting a new faction, you like it
I would have thought,
just
even if
I
it's a
wouldn't.
small faction, it's really cool. Yeah, really
No,
cool.
I wouldn't have. I would not have guessed it, and I certainly wouldn't have guessed Skitarii.
No way.
So, the Skitarii Conclaves are a new faction for use in game, but work like any other in terms of army selection and allegiances. Vassals of the Forge Lords. If the primary faction in an army list is Mechanicum, then allied detachments of Skitarii do not count towards the 50% limit on allies. So you could do a 3,000 point list that is 1,000 points Mech, 1,000 points Skitarii, and 1,000 points Astartes. I like this. I just like it's like I don't. If I was running Mechanicum as a primary force, I would probably only be taking a handful of Skitarii units to score.
Yeah,
So I'm
we
not
will
sure it
perhaps
would
talk.
affect
We'll
me.
get the reason why Lee says that we'll get into as it kind of
Yeah.
goes and as we talk about the units.
But I do like it. It kind of shows just from a lore point of view, you see that they are part of the Mechanicum, but
Yeah,
also they're kind of not. But
set apart.
yeah.
The same but set apart. Yeah.
So when creating an army of Skitarii, each unit must pick from one of the four
Yeah.
Skitarii traits available. Now, this is something I didn't pick up on.
Mhm.
Importantly, each unit in your force may have a different trait.
Yes. So this is the case. Okay. But so I think if you know anything about this book so far, you might be like, oh, that's great. I can combine my line with a unit and then combine it with like Vanguard. Remember, it's particularly lining Vanguard where this matters, is that it's about the majority of models. So like with line, the majority of models must have the line rule in order to gain line, or the
Were
majority of
people
models must be Vanguard.
thinking I will give my marshal?
Bingo. Like
Interesting. Yeah, no, I
so.
didn't even think of that. I was
Yeah.
just thinking when I read this, I thought, well,
Yeah.
your primary detachment
Yeah.
will have to be all one thing,
No, no,
and
no.
then your
It could be a
auxiliary
bit
detachment. Yeah,
no,
yeah.
no. It can be a mixed bag. It's like the old Dark Angels, basically. Like everybody can have like a different rule, which is
Yeah,
great if you want like a slightly complicated thing.
it's
But
interesting.
actually,
Yeah,
I think that some of them are just like better than others. Like we'll
because
talk about the each of the rules separately. But
with the Mechanicum, your primary detachment can be mixed,
yeah,
and then your kind of auxiliary apex detachments, they all have to be the same faction.
yes, that's right. Yeah.
So it's interesting that they've gone off that because they're still the same dudes. They're just
Do you want to explain that just a little bit for people who don't know the Mechanicum list very well? So what do
yeah.
you mean by like mixed in terms of
So
Mechanicum force?
when you choose, I mean, I am not a Mechanicum expert, but when you build a Mechanicum force,
Yeah.
you have factions within them. So you have
Yes, like
Mechanicum is the overriding army,
yeah,
and then you'll have Cybernetica, Murmuryx,
yeah,
Reductor, other factions within the Mechanicum.
yeah,
So your primary detachment can be mixed. It can
yeah.
be whatever because
So
they're
you'd
kind
have like
of
Myrmidons who are Myrmidax, but you'd have like a vehicle that's like Macrotech, and then
yes,
you'd
yeah,
have
yeah, yeah,
like
yeah.
some
So yeah, your
yeah,
primary detachment can be mixed. So you can
yeah,
have all the different factions in
yeah,
there.
and then the Thralls, which are
But
like
then
Lacrimata or
if
whatever.
yeah, then if you take an apex detachment, they all have to
Yeah.
be from the same
So
faction.
this is
So
like
they
a
all have to be
Macrotech,
reductor.
Apex. They obviously all have to be Macrotech, right?
Yeah,
If you're
yeah, and
taking
then you
vehicles.
take a tank auxiliary detachment.
Yeah,
If you wanted them to be Macrotech, which you
yeah.
probably would, they would all have
Always.
to be
Yeah,
Macrotech. Yeah.
yeah. You always want
So
them to be
that's the slight
Macrotech.
difference between this and the Skitarii. The
Yeah,
Skitarii, that they don't have to be the
yeah.
same
The key word is
trait,
Skitarii.
but this is
Yeah, yeah,
traits. Right, so the Skitarii traits. So you have Acquisitor.
yeah,
So all models, excluding vehicles.
yeah,
Now, what I will say is all these traits, they none of them are vehicles. We'll just get that out of the
yeah,
way now. So
yeah,
none of them include vehicles. It's
yeah.
only your kind of infantry and
Your
automata.
automata and infantry, basically. Yeah.
Yeah. So Acquisitor, all models with this trait gain line one.
So it's probably worth saying at this point that is quite. I mean, that's good because
Yeah.
the Skitarii fit, I think, within a list, which is something that's been missing for me for some time. The kind of like the in betweeny between a Thrall and the Thalax, right? Like it doesn't have
Mm,
something that kind of like
mm.
sits within that section. Um, and it's nice to gain that's something that sits within that section, and now that thing also has line one as well, which is great. So it kind of fills what I think personally there was a gap, and they've got line one, and it's line without a controller as well, right? So it's just like, it's similar to Legions.
Yeah,
Sure,
yeah,
it's not
yeah,
line
yeah,
two, like,
yeah,
but they're on a similar footing now to the Legions in that way. Because one of the criticism I hear from mech players all the time is, look, it's just a real pain not having line. Like it's really hard
yeah,
to fight against
yeah,
legions in objective-based games because they have like line two. They can have a tac squad sit on objective at the back of the game. I can't reach them, and they're just gaining 4 points a turn.
yeah,
And
yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah.
so
Yeah, yeah, this was honestly the thing I was most excited for when I saw the rules.
yeah,
I was like, this is perfect because kind of currently with Mechanicum, you can take like Cybernetica with Automata and you get Comptroller, so you technically get what is essentially line two.
yeah, basically no, but not as
But
good
you're
because you can't compete with
spending
line units. So
fucking hundreds of points as well, and you
yeah,
can't compete with other line
yeah, yeah. Line
units.
will always outscore controllers.
Yeah. But that was kind of the only way. So I'm a big fan of this one.
Yeah,
So Expurgator, all models excluding
Spaghetti.
vehicles with this trait gain the Vanguard free.
Yeah,
So I kind of ignored this initially, but you've got a few ideas about this,
yeah.
but are they not quite as good as
So
what you thought they might be,
so
or
I think so. Line one is good. I actually think because the unit gains Vanguard 3 and because the Automata, the Volterax and the Skitarii are decent at shooting. They're not amazing, but they can be decent at shooting.
yeah,
Having shooting Vanguard, I think, is actually really powerful. Like, we all know how difficult Vanguard is to get off if your opponent is hovering on the edge of an objective and then just
yeah,
moves off of it, when you
yeah,
want to get close with your Just Aaron or your Fire Drakes or whatever. So it will go off occasionally, but it's just very difficult to get off. Whereas shooting Vanguard, look, it's not amazing on Ballistic Skill 3 models, but it's better than nothing. And I think that for me, what I also quite like, so I like that. We'll talk about kind of my list in a bit and why I think that it kind of works well. But I also like it just in terms of they're fucking Skitarii. These guys are the shock troops of the Fabricator General. They're
yeah,
relic
yeah, yeah,
hunters.
yeah,
They're
yeah,
meant to be aggressive and they're meant to like
yeah,
fight shit off of like relics in order to capture and take the relics themselves.
yeah,
And not just hold it and hunker down. Like they're there to like grab it, or they're there to fucking beat off like, however many like tactical marines that are fucking on it. So I quite like this as the theme for the list,
okay.
and just kind of giving everything Vanguard. I just thought kind of like worked quite well for the shock troops
Mm-hmm,
of the
mm-hmm.
Fabricator General. So yeah,
Cool. So the next one is Vindictor. So this is a loyalist only trait. All
Yeah.
models, excluding vehicles, with this trait increase the value of any deflagrate X rule by +1.
Yeah,
Meh.
so yeah, I think that was my initial reaction. I think the one thing I would say, and I think what they've kind of probably tried to do here is go, look, we know that the Skitarii are ballistic skill 3, but if you have deflag and then it's +1 strength and it's already strength, like their main weapon, their arquebus or whatever it's called,
Yeah,
is
strength
deflag
5.
5. If you make it deflag 6, it offsets the fact that you're going to get potentially some more wounds because you're going to be wounding on that deflag on a 2
Yeah.
rather than a 3, so it might get you back some of those what would be the hits because you've only got half those dice going through. So I
Yeah.
can see what they've done there. It's not sexy, but I think it's just there to be like, look, they're ballistic skill 3, it might give you an extra few wounds out of them as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree, but I still think line 1 is way better.
Yep.
But I guess it depends what you've got in your list. And then Scouger, traitor only. All models, excluding vehicles, with this trait must add 1 inch to any setup moves to a maximum of 6 inches.
Yeah. Okay.
Um,
So, I mean, I think their setup move is 3 inches anyway. They're not fast. It's like it's 6 plus the 3, so it'll take them to 9. They are fast, so they get +2 for that. I think there's +2 for the charge. I think. So having an extra 1 inch on that set move is just quite nice. So
I
yeah, that's
don't
good.
hate it, but
Yeah.
again, I don't think these guys are gonna change the world in close combat.
No, I think they've got 2 wins apiece. Again, we'll talk about this in a sec.
Yeah,
But like, and they've got a close combat profile on their actual arquebus, which is nice.
yeah,
But they are weapon skill 3, so you need a lot of attacks to be able to even like fight some despoiler squads to go toe to
yeah. I
toe.
mean, they've got 2 attacks apiece, haven't they? Did you
Yeah,
say?
2 attacks piece.
Yeah,
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 yeah.
yeah, yeah,
But yeah. Still, I
yeah.
don't think they're gonna change the world.
No,
So the Skitarii unique reaction, Marshal Elect. Now this is what we were talking about
yeah,
previously, and it links into the lore, and I fucking love it.
yeah,
But basically, once per battle, cost 1 reaction point is declared immediately when a friendly battle pilgrim marshal is killed.
yeah,
In the end phase of that turn, any unit with an Ordinata may be selected. That Ordinata gains the command subtype, increases its weapon skill, attacks and leadership by 1, and one of its melee weapons gains the
yeah.
Icon of Authority, which we
Awesome.
will discuss in a minute.
Yeah,
Like, I love this. It's
really
it's
great.
fucking brilliant.
Yeah, yeah, really, really good.
It's good just because it's just good, but also it just
Great,
fits
great
in.
storytelling, right? I think that
Yeah,
it's just
yeah, yeah.
brilliant. Yeah, really, really good
I think
storytelling.
it's a shame it's only once per battle.
Yeah,
Like, I just
yeah.
love the idea that anytime one gets killed, you're just like, oh, well,
Yeah,
we'll just
yeah, it's cool.
select the
Yeah,
next one.
yeah,
But yeah, so then into the units. So the Skitarii Battle Pilgrim Marshal. So it's command slot, 100 points, and it's infantry command unit type.
yeah,
Its stats are movement 6, weapon skill 5, ballistic skill 4, strength 3, toughness, wounds, initiative, and tax 4, leadership 9, cool willpower, intelligence 8, and it has a 4 plus and a 5 plus save. They have the special rule Fast 2. It comes equipped with Vault Lock handgun and Orc Turret Scepter. Are we going with that?
yeah.
May swap its Scepter for a Phase Claw for 20 points or a Corpusant Stave for 15 points.
Can I just quickly just interject here? I made an
Yes.
error here, which is that
Oh no.
the normal Skitarii, they've got a move of 6 and then an initiative of 3, so that only takes them to a 2 inch setup. So that traitor only rule would actually take them to a 3 inch setup and
Okay.
a 3 inch
Okay.
only. So yeah, sorry, just to interject on
Interesting.
there before
No,
we get loads of
that's yeah.
comments on that one.
So you can swap the Vault Lock for an Archaeotech pistol for 5 points, and
Mm,
you can take Rad Charges and Haywire Grenades for 2 points.
yeah,
And we do have the weapons here. So
yeah,
the Vault Lock handgun is range 10 inches, one shot, strength 5, AP5, damage 1.
yep,
Pistol, deflagrate 5.
yeah.
The Archaeotech pistol is 12 inches, one shot, strength 6, AP4, damage 2, pistol, breaching 3 plus.
Pretty good, pretty good. Like yeah,
I'd go with an
I could
Archaeotech
say,
pistol to be
yeah,
honest. Rad charges are range 8, one shot, strength 4, AP dash, damage 1, phage toughness, which I fucking love.
Yeah, phase
Um,
toughness is great.
and then the haywire grenades is range 8, one shot, strength 4, AP dash, damage 1, shock, stunned.
Yeah, if you want to take tarantulas out of a game, like basically just haywire grenade them, like
Uh,
because they can't react, they can't do anything, and it's just such a simple way to be like, oh,
oh
I'm just going
shit!
to take
Yeah,
this down.
yeah, yeah,
Like it
yeah,
literally won't be able to do
yeah,
anything if you can just stun it and nobody can fix it or take it off.
yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, I quite like the haywire grenades.
I would take
Yeah,
both grenades, especially on this
yeah,
character,
yeah,
because why
but
not?
yeah, I mean, we'll talk about it in a second, but you can just like have as many with grenades as you want. You don't have to
Yeah,
upgrade like the
yeah.
whole unit of
No,
Skitarii with the
yeah,
rad chargers or the haywire grenades because they have access to both of those as well. So
yeah.
if you just want to go around like fucking stunning like vehicles so they can't like smoke screen or whatever, like this is perfect. Like really, really
Mm,
good. So
mm.
yeah,
And then the close combat weapons. So Orc Turret Scepter is initiative and attack space, +1 strength, AP4, damage 1, breaching 6 plus, and it has the icon of authority. So the icon of authority, when selected make attacks at the declare weapons and set initiative
mm,
values steps of combat phase, all models with the Skitarii trait in the same unit as the model with this weapon immediately recover from pinned,
yeah,
suppressed, and stunned statuses.
yeah,
Um, that's pretty fucking good. I would say
yeah,
it. I like the way they've done it. It's essentially the worst weapon,
yeah.
but it has quite a good a special rule
It
attached to it.
it is good. If your guys are alive at the end of the turn. Now, don't forget because this
This is the
happens
thing
in
because they're
combat that it's
yeah
not like they can't. It's not like they can score. Um, because they would be in combat at this point.
yeah
So what you're hoping for is potentially winning the combat and then being out of it, and then potentially hoping to score or do something next turn. But
yeah
it is quite nice. I quite like it. I think it could come in handy. It's not like it won't be game changing, but it'll be useful once or twice in a game where you're like, oh, I'm stuck in a combat.
yeah.
I'm bloody status here, and I'm just going to bonk this guy on the head, and I'm away to. And now my unit isn't status any longer, so that's nice.
So the face claw is -3 initiative, tax base, +3 strength, AP2, damage 2, rending 6 plus. Corpusant stave is base and attacks. Initiative and attack space,
Mm,
+1 strength, AP3, damage 1, shock, pin, stun, suppress.
mm.
I'm not sure what I'd go for with this. I think I'd go with the face claw, but
Okay, interesting. Yeah, but you're a brutal man who likes
I
damage
like
too.
to punch
Yeah,
things. Yeah.
I went for the corpusant stave
That
because
would be my second choice.
yeah,
I
you just
like the
like
icon of authority.
walk up to a Fellblade and be like donk,
Nope,
and he's just
see
like
ya.
oh pin stun suppress goodbye.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
really
yeah.
really savage.
Actually,
Yeah,
that's actually fucking. I mean,
yeah, because he's got
you have
four
to get them
attacks as
there,
well.
but yeah,
Um,
yeah.
yeah, he's got four attacks, so the chances are with you that you're going to be able to roll a 5 on that hit,
Pin,
and then because you
stun,
don't even need to do anything, you
suppress.
just need to get those three off. Like even in close combat with a dreadnought, those would be massively useful.
Yeah. Shit. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
to say about the staff as well, I think because he's initiative 4, and then you use that weapon with the icon of authority, and because the unit then immediately kind of like what as soon as it's set, uh, I think the unit would no longer be at initiative 1 combat. So the guys, because they're all initiative 3, they would then be able to fight at initiative 3
Right.
rather than
Yeah.
waiting
Yeah. Yeah.
initiative 1.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that is useful in principle if you're fighting other initiative 3
Yeah.
things. But most Marines are going at initiative 4, so they've already hit you by the
I
point
feel
that
like 9 times out of 10, when you actually get that off, half
yeah,
your unit is probably
it's
dead
going to be
already.
dead already. Yeah,
It's like, hey guys, you're no longer suppressed, and just lying on the floor, fucking
bone
sparks
pickers.
coming off them.
Yeah,
Yeah,
going through. But yeah, yeah,
yeah. So I quite like this dude. Like 100
yeah,
points is fine. 4 plus, 5 plus. Like, I think you got to be careful with him. He's not
yeah.
massively survivable, but
No,
I quite like the fact that he is just a 4 plus, 5 plus save
yeah, it's good.
because he's just one of the dickheads that's been promoted. Like,
Yeah, yeah,
it's
yeah.
it's
And he can though
yeah.
open because he's command. He can obviously open a detachment, which is important for taking
Yes,
your
yeah, yeah,
bumblebees and stuff like that. So
yeah.
yeah,
So then we have the Skitarii Battle Pilgrim Corpus, which is a troop slot, 100 points for a unit of one Ordinata and seven Battle Pilgrims. And you can add up to an additional eight Battle Pilgrims for 10 points each.
Squad of 16, right? It's interesting
Yeah,
that. Yeah,
yeah,
squad of
yeah.
16, I like it. Yeah, but
Um,
32 wounds potentially in a squad of 16, so
I
it's nice.
yeah, yeah, awesome. So movement six, Battle Pilgrim is weapon skill three, Ordinata is weapon skill four. They're both ballistic and strength three, toughness
Yeah,
four, two
that's what hurts them, I
wounds,
think.
initiative three. Battle Pilgrims are two attacks each. Ordinata is three attacks.
Mm.
Battle Pilgrims are leadership seven. Ordinata is leadership eight, and then they are both cool willpower eight,
Yeah,
intelligence seven.
cool 8 is good. That's higher than I
Yeah,
think
yeah, yeah.
a tactical marine, isn't it? Like cool,
Yeah, yeah,
a
yeah. There's
marine
seven,
is
aren't they,
just
off the top of my
cool
head?
7. Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
And then they have a 4+, 6+ save.
yeah,
Two wounds is great. Toughness four, two
yeah,
wounds.
yeah.
Unless you're coming up against a lot of damage to weapons.
Gravis, see, Gravis plasma will
Yeah, we'll fucking
nuke him.
murder these. Yeah.
Absolutely
But,
nuke him.
going up against just attack squad, they become like
Oh
this is one
man,
thing I've noticed
yeah,
with I mean the 4+ save puts them down a bit, but
yeah,
I've mentioned this with veteran TAC Marines is they become so survivable.
yeah. 32 wounds on 16 guys. Yeah, it's nuts. It's a
Yeah.
lot to
The
chew
four
through. Yeah.
plus is like, because, especially if
Mm,
there's some AP4 weapons out
mm,
there,
mm.
they're gonna feel it.
Yeah.
But I don't hate this. I like them. Uh, they have the special rules fast 2. They come equipped with Volt Lock Arquebus, and the Ordinator may swap its Arquebus for a Volt Lock pistol and Power Sword, which I would probably do, just because it looks cool. But also,
Mm.
he's got 3 attacks, so you might as well weapon skill
Yeah, that's
before.
true. That's true.
If you are throwing them into like TAC Marines, this is you want a power sword, don't you?
Hmm.
I think personally.
Mm.
And then any model in the unit may take rad charges and haywire grenades for 2 points each, which I love. You don't
Yeah,
have to equip
every
the
single
entire
unit. No,
unit with grenades.
really
One
useful.
thing I will ask, and I haven't looked, is
Yeah.
do the grenades come molded to the bodies or do you glue them
No, no,
on?
you glue them on. You glue them on.
Oh,
But there's only, I
nice.
think there's only one set of grenades on the Ordinata. I think like they're all hidden behind their like cloths from memory and stuff.
Right,
Yeah.
okay. Because that's the only thing. If they're all like
Yeah, it
modeled
looked like
with
yeah,
grenades,
yeah,
it would piss me off. Just that's
yeah,
just my OCD kicking in there.
yeah, yeah.
So the Voltlock Arquebus is range 20, firepower 2, strength and AP 5, damage 1, and deflagrate 5.
So I would
Pretty
like to
good.
talk about the Arquebus. Yes,
Yeah,
I think it
go.
is pretty good. And the
Yeah.
reason why I think this synergizes quite well with Vanguard 3 is because it's range 20. So you're not having to get within the 12-inch bubble where they could potentially move away from you and off an objective. You can
Yeah.
just be like, well, I'm just going to hover around the 18 to 20 inches and I can still
Mm.
shoot you and then potentially get the Vanguard 3 and you can't move off of that objective to be able to negate my Vanguard 3. So I think that range of 22 shots is actually quite nice here. Um,
Yeah.
it's just the weapon, it's the ballistic skill 3 that hurts them. But if you've got 16
Yeah.
guys in a 16 guys in there, it's 32
Just
shots.
roll better.
Just roll better. Got 16 going through, wounding on threes, and then you got potentially some deflags out of that as well, which is I think pretty nice. Like
Yeah.
that's not bad.
Yeah, yeah.
You won't
Yeah.
kill an entire squad, but that's what your bumblebees are for in a second. So
Yeah. So the Voltlock
Volterax.
Arquebus also has a close combat profile,
Hmm.
which is initiative attack space +1 strength, AP4 damage 1,
Ah,
and
impact
the
initiative. Oh, so they
impact
can. Ah, so they
initiative.
charge. They can go initiative 4. Okay, that's good to know.
You
Mm.
know what? I hadn't picked up on that at all,
That's
actually.
really
Yeah,
good. Yeah.
that's
Okay. That's
actually
good.
pretty good.
Yeah. So we take back what we said about kind of going at initiative 3. They can if they charge, they can.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
I think though, if they,
I
well,
still would
well,
pick. I
if they
still
were
wouldn't pick
pinned,
that weapon.
yeah, but this is the problem, isn't it? Because like you're not going to be doing the charging because you are pinned, and therefore you cannot charge. So you're going to get attacked. So it means you're going to be going at initiative
Yes.
in
One
in
thing
that
I do
scenario.
find interesting is if you use the reaction, the Ordinator kind
Yeah.
of their weapon just gains the
Yes.
icon, which I
Yes.
quite
That's right.
like.
Yeah. 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 That's good. Yeah.
Um, because
Yeah.
then you simply have a power sword
Yeah.
that also has
The
that
icon.
rule, which is better than
Yeah.
the scepter thing.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, yeah, I think these are fucking great.
Yeah.
I like the fact that they're not humans, they're not marines, you know. They're kind of hardy, but their armor's
Yeah.
not amazing, which fits in with Mechanicum. You know, ballistic skill free, weapon skill free fits in that they're basically just dickheads that have had loads of, you know, long legs stuck to them. And
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, I like the fact that these don't fit a kind of marine. They're somewhere in the middle, aren't they?
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
Which I just like. I like it
Yeah.
from it's
It makes
we've
them
not.
the fast two is nice. It just makes them compete with Marines when they're
Yeah,
rushing. So 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah. So they can basically rush the same as a Marine. And then the fast two gives them +2 on their charge, which is good. And actually quite frightening if you're Alpha Legion. Like you're like, oh, these Skitarii basically negate my Legion rule here. So that's interesting.
yes, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Uh,
Interesting. Yeah.
yeah, so yeah, I
What's
like
the
this a lot. I think my gut says if you're going to go for line, keep them smaller. If you're going to go for Vanguard, keep them bigger because you want the shots. I think.
Yeah, yeah, okay. Yeah, I see that logic.
Hmm.
Um, yeah. And then we have bone pickers, which were mentioned in the lore. They are a support slot, 50 points for a unit of 10, and you can add up to 20 for an additional 5
Yeah,
points each.
yeah,
Um, and they say in the book, don't they, basically using some Necromunda models and some of the tech for all bits, I
yeah,
think it could get very expensive to
yeah.
build a 50 point unit.
Yes, very
Um,
expensive. Yeah,
but I like the idea of these. So the Bone Picker is move 6, weapon skill, ballistic skill 2, strength and toughness 3, wounds 1, initiative 2, attacks 1, leadership, cool, willpower, intelligence 4, and a 6 plus save. So these are the most bitch basic fucking
yeah,
essentially humans on the battlefield of the fucking
yeah,
31st millennium.
yeah,
The special rules are expendable 2, support unit 1, and zealous followers. So zealous followers, when making a characteristic check, they may use the characteristic value of a non-routed Skitarii model within line of sight and 6 inches instead of their own value. So that
Got to
bumps
keep,
up,
got to keep close. I think.
yeah. And they come equipped with last locks, which are range 18, firepower 1, strength 4, AP 6, damage 1. Um,
Yeah,
I actually really like these just as a blocking force.
yeah.
Um,
What I
I,
don't know, and would have to look into, is what happens when you give a line unit. Like, if you gave these line, and then they've got support unit one, I assume those two cancel each other out.
ooh.
Um, I don't need to look at the support unit, which I'll do in a second.
Yeah, I
But
would guess that support unit is just support unit. You can
yeah,
only ever score 1 point.
wait, so is it minus one? Let me double check that one. But yeah, I'd be interested to see what happens here when they're given line one and
I don't
support
know where
unit
my
one.
fucking rules book is.
I can't see me taking any of these guys. I think they're cool
No.
for like storytelling. But yeah, I just think that I'm not really sure what these guys kind of offer.
So
Um,
I would use these as literally a cheap blocking unit. I would
right,
stick them
okay.
in front of like a Lord of War or something.
Okay, right, interesting.
And
Because you're
literally just because now, you know, uh that unit that wants to blow up that Lord of War now has
yeah,
to go through them. But
yeah.
realistically, I don't see me ever taking them. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, so a unit that includes any models with the support unit X special rule may only ever score a maximum number of victory points equal to the value of X for controlling an objective, regardless of the value of that objective or any other special rules in that
Yeah.
unit might have, such as line. So you can only ever score one. So there's no point giving
Yeah.
them line one here. Yeah,
No.
okay. No, not at all. Okay, cool. Interesting.
But I like it. I like the fact they've thrown these in. It's a cool like kit bash opportunity.
Yeah.
I think it's quite cool. Like
Yep.
if I was doing a purely Skitarii or a majority Skitarii force, I'd definitely knock some up just because it fits
The theme.
the
Yeah.
flavor of the force.
Yeah.
But I don't see me ever doing any. But
No.
who knows? And then also included in the rules were the Volterax for 100 points as a fast attack choice, Triaris 200 points as a heavy transport, Karachnos 235 points as an armor unit, and the Krios 135 and Krios Venator 160 points for armor units. Um, we haven't actually covered Mechanicum yet, have we?
No,
So we
no, but
will at some
basically,
point
yeah,
go
we will.
into.
Basically, all those tanks are really decent. Like
Yeah,
what
yeah,
you need
yeah,
to
yeah,
know
yeah,
about them
yeah,
is they're
yeah,
really
yeah.
decent. And in a Mechanicum list, like you got to take them probably as macro tech, and then they become absolutely insane if they you take them in the Apex
Yeah,
reset.
it's interesting, isn't it? Like a Triaros for 200 points to transport like Skitarii, I
Hmm.
just think is off just a waste of points,
That's interesting
personally.
because that's exactly what I've done. So we'll talk about that in a second.
Interesting. I just feel like you could just take another squad.
That's interesting. Okay, I'll
Uh,
talk through my logic in a second, but
yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I will be interested to hear your logic and then tell you why
Why
you are
I'm wrong.
wrong.
Cheers, bro.
Um, But for those that don't know as well, the Volterax is just all about like Phage T. Like
Yeah.
it's shock suppress, suppressive one, Phage T,
Have we got the
panic
rules on the
zero,
next
shock
slide? Do you
stun.
want to just check?
No, we don't have any of the
Oh, you
rules
don't
for these.
rules. Okay, yeah. Okay.
Um, so yeah, it's a really cool unit for kind of just um suppressing or knocking down the toughness
Yeah.
of
Th
your opponent.
This is, I think, well, perhaps we'll talk about the list. So the Volterax, just a few other bits and pieces. So about it, the really important thing I think about it is it's got Firestorm. So you
Yeah,
can shoot at your full ballistic skill, which in fairness is only ballistic skill 3, but you can shoot at your full ballistic skill before you as at volley,
yeah,
as long as those weapons I think are like eligible to fire. I'd need to just definitely double check that unless they've got implacable advance. They've got implacable advance, which is good.
yeah. They
Um,
normally do automata. Yeah.
so that is really powerful, and then they don't have to charge. Like with
No.
Firestorm, you can choose not to charge. So you are basically getting 2 rounds of shooting in your turn potentially if you're nearby to a unit, and you can. And remember, like they're cool 12, so you know like you just declare it within 12 inches. You know, even if you're not even close to making the charge. And then you get to fire again, which I think is really, really,
Mm.
really nice as
Mm.
well. They're anti-grav. They got firing protocols too, as well. And yeah, the weapons are really good, but they're all about statuses and all about the phage, as Lee said. Like the arc blaster is 6 shots. It's strength 6, AP 5, damage 1, suppressive 1, and shock suppressed. So like shocking a tank with shock suppressed is fucking brilliant. And the chances are that you will get one of those off. Like you will roll a 5, the odds are with you, because you've got 6 shots there to get a suppressed on a tank, which is really nice, even if you're not going to hurt the tank. The Volterac missile launcher, I think, gets around its ballistic skill 3 issue because the airburst is 36-inch range. It's blast 5 inches, and that's the reason why it gets around the weaker ballistic skill.
Mm.
It's phage toughness and panic 0 as well. And it's strength 6, AP 4, damage 1. So this is actually quite good at like killing other Skitarii as well. And then the shape charge is range strength 10, which is nice. 2 shots, AP2, damage 2, and it's shock stunned, panic 0, and phage toughness. So it's weird because it's kind of like in this anti tank because it's obviously strength 10, and 2 damage. It's quite good at anti tank,
Yeah.
but it's also good at like you know killing other stuff or taking down other stuff. The fact it's AP2 is really nice. And then it's got some close combat weapons, nothing too exciting. It's damage 2, AP 4, breaching 6 up as well. But really, I think you're taking this to give it Vanguard 3 because I think this will really, really do damage to like TAC Marines and things like that.
Mm.
Like,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
in
yeah.
conjunction with the Skitarii, I think.
And that's the interesting thing that I was thinking about with the like the deflagrate trait is
Yeah,
if you've got one of these, you've already hit it with phage.
yeah,
So
yeah,
actually, do
yeah,
you care
yeah,
that a handful of extra shots will
yeah,
be essentially strength
yeah.
6?
That's exactly it, which is why I think we'll talk about it when we talk about my list, but actually, a Volterax working in conjunction with a larger squad of Skitarii, it hits it with the phage toughness weapon. It causes a wound. They're now toughness 3, and then they hit them with a Volkite, which is going to be wounding on twos. And I think that
Yeah.
that is where the synergy works with the Volterax
Yeah.
really
Yeah.
nicely.
Yeah.
Yeah,
For 100 points.
yeah, it's
Groovy.
perfect. Yeah, it's great.
Cool. Should we have another quick break before we go into
Yeah,
your
sure, sounds great.
list?
It's time to upgrade your battlefield with Sacrus Mundus terrain. Sacrus Mundus sculpt breathtakingly detailed and varied terrain that will bring your games of Horus Heresy to life. From the ruined cities of Armoria to the jungle vestiges of Lintrath, Sacrus Mundus design immersive battlefields for any type of tabletop wargaming experience you desire. Find their extensive terrain collections online right now.
Right, welcome back. Let's go straight into Rob's list. So
Yeah,
this is Allied Detachment you're going to run it
a
as.
little allied detachment. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Do you want to talk us through it then?
Yeah, so I think this will be a good allied detachment for whatever you do, really. Me and Lee had a discussion before we came on and started recording about, well, what would happen if you like had a mech as your main detachment and the Skitarii as your allied detachment. I think there's a really good argument there to be like, look, just take loads of Skitarii and get the line one if you're
Yeah,
mech, because it fills the gap that the mech list
yeah,
doesn't have. And I think that is that probably seems the most sensible thing to do. Like shooting Vanguard is really good. Like I won't deny it, but you've also got it in the form, like mech players have it in the form of the Myrmidons as well, which I would say probably
yes, yeah,
pack a harder punch than these guys do. So I think there's something about that. I also think you need to be aware. Like I'd also, when I started list building last night, I was like, okay, maybe I'll take a little like allied detachment of Mechanicum, and then I can cyber 30 up these Volterax and stuff, and maybe that will be good. But I started looking into tech priests, and they're 50 points from memory. I think 50 points off the top of my head, maybe 30.
I
Um,
think they're 30, aren't they?
30. They've got intelligence 8, and they
Yeah,
need to do like a cyberthurgic test. Now, the one that you're probably going to do is like guided, right? You want to increase the ballistic skill on the Volterax. That's a -2 to the difficulty, so you need to get it off on a 6. Um, and then because they don't share the Mechanicum trait, they're Skitarii, not Mechanicum, it's then a -1 further on that check because
yeah,
you're basically crossing streams, so you're getting now off on a 5, and then you can add a cyber familiar to it for a whopping 20 points. Like they're really expensive
yeah,
on a tech priest. And then by that point I was just like, man, like 50 points, what am I going to put the tech priest with? Like he's just going to be floating around in his own easy, like ready for an easy like first strike or whatever. So I kind of just
mm,
sacked off that idea and then started looking at the Volterax weapons. And as I said before, actually, just the blast is really nice. Like just having the blast is really good. So I came up with this, which is using the box, and then you need to get yourself one extra Volterax and then a Triaris armored conveyor. Um, so the Skitarii Battle Pilgrim Marshal, he's useful. He is useful because he sits in that prime slot, so he can unlock a lot of stuff. He can unlock a detachment, but also because he's within that prime slot, he can unlock a logistical benefit as well. So he can take something additional. I've given him the Corpusant Stave. I really value the Corpusant Stave. Like even if you're tangling with like a Dreadnought, just rolling a 5 on those hits, they're going to be like shock
yeah,
suppressed,
yeah, yeah,
like
yeah.
routed, like really, really valuable. You come across a tank and you just like beep, and you've done a lot of like damage to it. So really, really like that. I think it's good. But of course, taking Corpusant Stave, you lose the icon of Resolve. So that's just something to bear in mind. And then for him, I've taken the Expurgator, which is the Vanguard 3. Not for any other reason. Like I was like, nah, you could be a bit cheesy and take like Lion 1 on him, and then at some point like hop onto an objective if you want to. But I was just like, let's just go for the theme, right? Let's just really lean into the fact that these are the shock troops of the Fabricator General. With that logistical benefit, I've unlocked a heavy support, and I've taken a Triaris armor conveyor. Now it's really interesting, the armored conveyor. It's 14 on the front, I think 13. Am I correct in saying 13 on the sides, Lee, and then 12 on the
Oh
rear?
God.
Um,
Uh,
but they are a real son of a bitch to get rid of. I've faced them a number of times, and like you basically have to resort to melter bombs or getting in the rear. They're a real pain, and they have 8 hull points from memory as well, which means that they're quite hard to get
7 hull
rid of.
points.
Seven
So
hull
they
points. Sorry,
are movement 10, ballistic skill 4, armor is 14, 12, 12.
yeah.
Hull point 7, transport capacity 22.
Yeah, so I really like this. It's got a number of weapons, like it's got some Volkites on it. It's got the Mauler bolt cannons as well, and it does come with searchlights, like it just built in. So I was like, if it just comes with searchlights, you might as well just upgrade to have additional hunter killer missiles, because your opponent can't shroud against those hunter killer missiles because you've got the searchlights. You just need to just lean into it. So I thought that was really really nice. Just pop a few whole points off a tank, or potentially just get rid of a tank completely, and they won't be able to kind of like take a smoke screen or whatever it is against it, which is cool. And then that transport is going to be filled with my Skitarii Battle Pilgrim Marshal and my Skitarii Battle Pilgrim. And again, on then I've taken the Expurgator, which is the Vanguard 3, and they've all just got the Volterax Arquebus. Like I didn't even swap out the Power Sword. I do actually, looking back on it now, think Lee is right. If you're going to tangle with TAC Marines, it's actually useful to have a Power Sword there.
I think it's handy, yeah.
But I was just like, I'm just going to lean into the extra shots, because really, I don't really want to. This whole force is designed just shooting tactical Marines and despoilers off of objectives. That's my only mission here. It's not about really actually getting to the objective or fighting things on objectives. It's just to stay at like that 20-inch range and just shoot them off of objectives. So I'm not forcing a movement reaction like by getting within the 12 inches, because the weapons on the Volterax are all around the 24 to 36 range. So like even they can stay quite far back. And then I've gone for 2 Skitarii Volterax as well. So I really like the Volterax, the one I've just painted. I really enjoy painting it. They're actually quite simple and quick and easy to paint, and good for like 100 points. And these I would use in conjunction. In my head, I've got like the Skitarii Trios armored conveyor trundling along, being flanked by 2 Volterax, and then the Skitarii hopping out and then hitting my opponent with the Volterax first, hitting them particularly with the air burst, because it's got the phage toughness, lowering the toughness of a unit, and then finally hitting them hopefully with the killer blow with those Volkites, which now are going to be wounding on 2s against Marines, and then wounding further on 2s with the deflagrate as well. And I think that kind of like 1-2 combo I think works and synergizes really nicely, and synergizes in a way that nothing else within that list necessarily synergizes, because everything else is just like a normal tank. Like I think there's like a Karaknos tank might be useful, sure, but I think that like the maneuverability, the speed, like these trundling along one aside each other, I think it kind of works quite nicely. Yeah, and I think that just this 705, but it says 505 at the top. That's because of the different detachments, but it's 705 points. Just as quite a lethal Vanguard like list, I think works quite nicely. And I think if you're a loyalist who doesn't necessarily have a lot of access to Vanguard within your list, you're not taking Custodes or whatever, this is just quite nice. Like this is just quite cool to be like, this is just my range Vanguard kind of like block, and like it does a lot of cool stuff, a lot of shock on there, a lot of status causing stuff on there that just might come in handy against tanks later in game as well. So yeah, that's my
no, I
that's
like
my
it.
thoughts.
I like it. So for this, I understand why you're taking the conveyor. I guess for me, you kind of need to get within that 20 inches. You need to
Yeah,
make sure you're within that 20
yeah,
inches, don't you?
yeah.
I just feel like 200 points for
It's a lot. Yeah, it's a lot
16,
per unit less than
ballistic skill free shots.
Yeah.
I could see that just bouncing even off attack
I think
squads.
it's interesting because within the games that I play, like Gravis Plasma is just really prevalent in the games, like the local scene. So I would just like look at them, put them on the board, and I know my opponent would just be like, well, let's just hit them with 2 Gravis Plasmas, and that unit will just be
Yeah,
wiped.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean,
So
I guess this
The
is the downside of the Skitarii, isn't it? Like,
yeah,
if you have a tac unit or even a veteran tac squad,
yeah,
you can just stick them in a Rhino
yeah. I
for
mean,
like, even
autocannons will
if you,
just blitz these guys
yeah,
apart as
yeah,
well, right?
yeah, 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 yeah. Whereas the only kind of transport option open to Skitarii is a 200 point. Like,
Yeah,
it's a really
yeah,
good tank,
yeah. But it's expensive. Yeah,
but it's a lot.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
you're
I,
paying
I
more
like
for the
that.
transport
Yeah,
than you are the
yeah. The troops. That I don't hate
troops.
though. I also like the Triaros because of the flare shield. The fact that like armor bane doesn't work
Yeah, it's
against
great.
a
Yeah,
Triaros
yeah,
like a front 14 vehicle. It's just
yeah.
like I'm just laughing at your las cannons now, like on the front
I
of
mean,
my armor.
besides all of it, because I said I would never take a Triaris with Skitarii. I just
Yeah,
think it looked fucking cool.
it could look. I
Like,
think in that
they
grey
look
scheme, I
great.
think would look
Yeah,
awesome. Yeah,
that was kind of my deciding thing. Like the artwork, the color plates in the
yeah,
book
yeah.
is essentially, they're all kind of like dark gray,
Great.
basically,
Yeah,
aren't they?
yeah, yeah,
And I was like, oh man, that would look so cool.
yeah. So cool. Yeah,
That would be my main reason for taking one. But
yeah.
I mean, even giving them line and just pushing them up, I don't think is a
Totally works as
terrible.
well. No, and actually, there's something about that, and just saying actually, like you give the Volterax Vanguard 3, and then the Skitarii line 1, and then
Mm.
basically what you're hoping almost a double dip, which
Murder,
is
murder
just
the units with Volterax.
and then just
Yeah,
hop onto the
yeah, yeah,
objective. You know,
yeah,
you're almost being like, I can have my cake and eat it here. I suppose
yeah,
my
yeah,
thing is
yeah.
just like I just quite like the theme of just yeah, I just love that idea that they're the shock troops of the fabricated general. So I guess I
Yeah,
just wanted to
yeah,
build
yeah.
that. So
No, I
yeah.
like it. You've given me
Do you know out of
some
curiosity
ideas.
what a shock ram does? I need to have a look what a shock ram
Oh,
does. But
fucking hell. Shock Ram
yeah.
is it's like strength 10, isn't it?
Getting around shocking things with my Triaris. Yeah, need to have. I need
Uh,
to.
uh,
Here you go. Shock ram. Here you go. So this is also what the Triaris comes with. When a model with this special rule and the vehicle moves through an enemy unit, the number of hits inflicted is increased from D6 to D6 plus 3. Bloody hell.
oh,
If your active
okay,
player
yeah.
declares a death or glory action with a vehicle that has this special rule as the target, then the vehicle with this special rule gains a 6 plus invuln as well. Oh, interesting. Okay. All right. Interesting. Yeah, I love that. 6 plus D3. That's great. That's awesome. Cool.
Yeah, it's they're pretty good. They are
Yeah,
expensive though.
they're pricey. They're pricey. But I've
Um,
I've I've already bought one. I bought one last night. That's what I was
oh
doing.
well, I've got one set up there in my
Oh,
box
nice,
of
nice, nice.
fucking
Shame.
unmade
I
Mechanicum
need to.
stuff.
Oh, I've actually got my second Volterax. Actually, I can get on with that as soon as I'm
Oh,
done
there you
with
go.
the GT prep. But there's one
Nice.
more thing to show in the Skitarii book, isn't there?
Yes, so it came with the new updated rules for Myrmidon Destructors. Destructors. I mean, they're basically exactly the same as
Yeah,
what's in the Liber. The difference is that the Liber version comes with Volkite Culverin as the stock option, which may be swapped to other weapons, and in the Skitarii book they come without guns and must take one, but the Volkite is a free option and the
yeah,
other weapons are the same price.
yeah.
Did they change it that you have to take
You have to take a
the
weapon on them.
same
Ah, no, that I don't
option?
know. That I don't know.
Oh, I won't be able to
These are
find
the
it now.
these are the heavy ones though, aren't they?
The
These are the
Destructors,
destructors,
yeah.
right? These are the ones where it's not the two weapons, it's just the singular weapon that they take.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
no, but um,
I think they have to take the same weapon in the legacies in the Mechanicum book, I think.
uh,
The
all
Myrmidon.
models in this unit must select one from the following
Yeah.
option, yeah. Whereas in the mech book, any model in this unit may have its Volkite Culverin exchanged for one of the following.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think that's the biggest change, isn't
Yeah,
it?
that's it. That's it. Yeah, that's it.
That they have to all be equipped with the same thing.
Hmm.
That's a bit of a shame, but whatever. Yeah, so new rules for that. Does it actually say like you have to use these rules going forward? Because I mean,
I assume so. So it says books need to be updated. The Liber Addenda will present those changes so that players
yeah,
have access to the
replaces
most
the Myrmidon
up-to-date
Destructor.
rules. Yeah,
Yeah, okay, interesting.
interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah, very
I
interesting.
mean, I was going to equip them all the same anyway, so it
Yeah,
doesn't really bother me. But I mean, that's annoying for someone who's already made a unit and now,
yeah, mixed unit. Yeah.
yeah. But yeah, that was the kind of last thing in the Skitarii book. Final thoughts, Rob. How do you feel after we've been through all that? Are
Yeah,
you,
really good. It's been the most excited I've been for I thought I was excited about the Saturnine, but actually, like when reading through this over the past few days, like building the models, I think it's been a really, really good release. Really like the stories. Really like the nods to the Cyraxus, to the
Yeah,
Rangdan.
yeah. I hadn't
Like,
even picked up on that.
there's a lot of stuff for us like grizzled veterans that is really
Yeah,
cool. And I think the Skitarii fill a gap for Mechanicum that they've probably missed out on. Do I think that everybody will be taking Skitarii because they're game breaking? Not at all. And that's one of the things I quite like about this edition with these like journals is that none of them are game breaking. Like I think yeah, even with the
yeah,
Freitas Conclave, they're good. But they're fucking expensive if you want to get them into like get them into combat. Like the
yeah,
Skitarii,
yeah, yeah,
they
yeah,
can be good, but they can also be just torn apart by autocannons. Relatively
yeah.
straightforwardly. So I think lots of this stuff is all quite balanced, and it's nice to kind of like go unpick it and kind of go, oh, what's a decent option here? What's a cool option, and what kind of like links with everything we know and understand about the Skitarii from the books as well.
Yeah, yeah, agree totally. I mean, I would love to see more units added to the Skitarii. I'd love to see some kind of heavy support units, weapons type units would be pretty cool. But
Yeah, yeah. Oh man,
yeah,
like
I
like flamers or something like that on them would be
yeah, oh, that'd be
awesome, right?
fucking
Yeah,
great. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So it'll be interesting to see what they do with them. Hopefully, they don't just do this and that's it. I
and
don't.
that's it.
I feel
Yeah,
like I feel like they probably won't. But yeah, it's just cool, isn't it? I mean, this
it's
is what I
really cool.
love about these journals, is that
Yeah,
they can just add
yeah.
almost. I mean, you could, in theory, just run a Skitarii force. I don't
Mm.
think it would be particularly amazing,
No, not
but I don't
exciting.
think it would be terrible.
No, I think what you're relying on there, let's just say 3,000 points of Skitarii. What you are relying on is just the volume of wounds that you've got, like 32 wounds at 180
Yeah,
points, and then you're just like, okay, well, I'll just take like 8 of those squads, and you just got there's so many wounds that you've got to get through.
yeah,
And in
yeah,
that scenario, I think you're just like, okay, yeah, and then add a few tanks in. I mean, the Mechanicum tanks are nuts. Like they're not as nuts as Macrotech tanks, um,
no,
but the like just the base tank, like they pour out a lot of firepower. Um, so I think you can do it, but I think there's not as much flavor within the mechanic. Like you'd lose a lot of flavor. Like you're not going to go around fixing your tanks, right? Like that's not a thing you can do if you're just pure Skitarii.
yeah, no. I mean, I feel yeah. Even if I ran like a 3,000 point list, I would probably have primary Skitarii. I
Yeah,
would still have like 500 points of Mechanicum,
just to fix.
probably
You need
just
to
like
fix stuff.
fixing
Yeah, yeah,
stuff and
yeah.
yeah.
That's what
But
that's
then at
what you
that
really want.
point, but then you get into the argument of is it not just worth taking
Mechanicum.
those
Yeah,
tanks as Mechanicum?
Mechanicum.
So
That's the
it's
issue.
kind of, but I love the idea of a Skitarii Force. I would love
Yeah,
to see someone do a Skitarii Force just because like the dark grey looks cool as fuck and it would just be cool.
yeah.
Um,
I'm still undecided
to be
about bone
honest.
pickers. Like I think they're cool, thematic, but I'm not really sure what the place is. Like for me, I'd be like, maybe I'll
I
just take
don't
some
hate
more
these.
Skitarii.
I mean there is that, yeah, but like yeah, 100 points gets you 20 models.
Yeah, just
Um,
more meat
and
for the grinder, I guess.
you could just throw them out in front of your squad that's going to shoot a
Yeah,
tac squad off the objective. I don't know. Like I say, I probably would never do it because I would never have the time to convert that many
yeah,
models
yeah.
for for fucking
Or paint them.
100
Like let's
points.
take ages to paint
Um,
those models. Yeah,
but I also feel like there's probably some militia options if you wanted to do
yeah,
something like that that are probably better. Um, but again, it's kind of cool. Like
yeah.
I don't dislike it. Like it's cool that they've added some. I'm a big fan. I would love to see more Skitarii units in the future. But for now, I'm very happy with what we've received.
Nice.
Uh, and that is it, really. A big shout out to our Praetor tier patrons. I don't think we mentioned it once this episode, but we obviously have a Patreon. Go check us out. We do tacticas and competition. Well, not even competition, prize giveaways. And we are currently working on our Praetor tier giveaway. We've just released a snapshot of what that's going to look like. Hopefully, we'll get some painted versions shown soon. But we have free tiers, and Praetor tier is our highest tier. So massive shout out to these guys and girls. Thanks for all your support. If you've got this far, please like and subscribe. Let us know if you're planning on using Skitarii. Let us know if you've already used them and how you've found them. Let us know if Rob's idea of shooting tac squads off objectives is bullshit.
Rob doesn't know what he's talking about.
We will put this episode up on Spotify at some point shortly after it's gone up on YouTube. Check out our Patreon. If you have any questions, then email us heresyhammer30k@gmail.com.
That's correct. Well done, Lee. That's it. Yeah.
Check me out. Hey, we've only been doing this for
job.
years. Follow us on Instagram, and if you aren't already, go to Instagram. Have a look at the link there, and we have a WhatsApp chat group that is off the fucking chain. There's been loads of hobby going up there recently.
Loads.
I actually put a message up a few days ago of just being like, this is insane, because there's some absolute top tier hobby going on there. So go check that out. And that is it. Oh, and we have a website as well, heresyhammer.com. So if you're in the UK, you want to check out any upcoming events, go have a look at our calendar on there. And if you have an event that you want advertised, fill out the form on there, send it to us, and we will get it put on the website. I think that's about it. That's a bye-bye from me.
Farewell from me.
See you later.